Morning, everybody. Happy Monday to you. Microphone works. Let's get our heads right. Getting the week started. I was sad last night, man. Very sad to see the news that the last original member of Lynyrd Skynyrd, Gary Rossington, left this mortal coil last night at 71 years old. Dude survived the Skynyrd plane crash, a heart attack, years of drug and alcohol abuse, and made it to 71. And I was really bummed. Our pal Bernie Wilson tweeted it last night, and I went, ooh, sitting at my desk, and I went, oh, no. Well, I said, I know what needs to be done tomorrow. 4 straight hours of Lynyrd Skynyrd talk on Ben and Woods here on 97.3 The Fan. Now, I could do it in my sleep. I would have a blast doing it. I thought to myself, I don't know that Ben and Paul would be down for 4 straight hours of the history and the influence of the great Lynyrd Skynyrd.
The only thing I know is that there is not actually a person named Lynyrd Skynyrd.
There's a person named Lynyrd Skynyrd, and it was their gym teacher.
Okay.
And that's who they named the band after. Lynyrd Skynyrd.
See, I could entertain probably an hour.
You do the whole hour of Skynyrd talk?
I don't know much about them.
See, I do. I could fill you
What's
in.
the
I wouldn't be able to contribute anything. It'd be story time.
My first question, what's the plane crash story? I don't know. I don't even know this.
Well, Ben, I'm glad you asked.
Okay.
Strap in.
So number one, there's a documentary. It's on Netflix. I think it's called If I Leave Here Tomorrow. And I love Lynyrd Skynyrd with every fiber in my being. In my opinion, they are the tightest band to ever live. You have to be when you have 3 lead guitar players in a band. You have to be very, very tight because otherwise it's just 3 guys that are like, no, I'm really good. Listen to what I can do, right? Their backstory is incredible. I mean, they're literally hillbillies from the swamp. And they got together and they had this, friends in high school, Little League. They played Little League against each other and they discovered rock and roll. And they're like, no more school. No more anything. All we want to do is play music. In fact, Gary Rossington said once, I wish they would throw me in jail for 30 days with my guitar. That would make me, when he was a teenager, he's like, him and one of the other guys, Alan Gaines, used to go, man, I wish they'd just lock us up for 30 days with our guitars. All we can do is play guitar. We didn't have to worry about eating meals, going to school, nothing. Here's the thing I love the most about Skynyrd. They had this shack down in the swamp, basically, about 100 feet from a creek where alligators would roll up, water moccasins, hillbilly people out in the woods would come and try to steal their gear. They called it the Hell House. And the Hell House had no air conditioning. It's down in the swamps, be about 100 degrees, mosquitoes the size of pigeons. And dude, they went down there every day. And you know what time they started? Rock and roll band kids, long-haired hippie kids in the 60s. Ronnie Van Zant said, y'all have your asses here by 7:30 in the morning. And they played all day long, every day. And that's how they became so tight. So the work ethic of the band, the common man theme of Lynyrd Skynyrd, I've just loved that band since I was a little kid, and I love them more now. And when Gary passed away last night, I was legit sad. And I told my wife, I go, well, I'm about to be back on my Skynyrd BS. She goes, when were you off your Skynyrd BS? Because that's all I hear. So you know that song, That Smell? Ooh,
yeah.
That smell.
Can't you smell that
So
smell?
it's about one of the members they've got a little money now, and you've been drinking and too much coke and too much smoke, and you oak tree in your way. That's him. He got hammered and messed up, and he hit the oak tree. So Ronnie, the lead singer, is like, I'm about to write a song about your ass right now. So he did, and that song was about him. They called him Prince Charming in that song. So I saw a couple tributes last night. Prince Charming has left the building. I love that band. So he's the last remaining member because they had just put out an album, Ben, my favorite album, called Street Survivors. And they're going from a gig to a gig. And it was a crappy plane. They didn't like the plane, didn't want to be on the plane. And I think they ran out of fuel, if I'm not mistaken. And it like clipped all these trees and it crashed and a bunch of them died. Ronnie Van Zant, the singer, Stevie Gaines and Cassie Gaines passed away. Rossington survived. He woke up. The plane door was on top of him. He broke his pelvis, both arms, both legs, managed to recover, play, continue, the legacy of Lynyrd Skynyrd for the years. But I mean, the documentary, you can hate Lynyrd Skynyrd, and the documentary it's riveting. It's on Netflix still, and gave it another play last night, man. I love that band. I love how they worked. I love what they represent, and just a huge Skynyrd fan. So I literally could do 4 hours on them just
Fo-
playing songs.
Follow-up question.
Yeah.
So, and I don't think you know the answer to this. How is it that so many of these rock stars who lived so hard, partied so hard, did so many drugs, are still going like in their 70s, 80s when some of them are still touring, not just alive, but actually like functioning and touring, where some of the rest of us, I mean, not even close, imagining to do that.
I mean, I'm 47, dude, and I get out of bed and I'm like, like it's you got to talk yourself into getting behind
Mick
the
Jagger's
wheel.
like, settle down.
Yeah. Honestly, I think in there, like if you look at the Stones, bro, they've probably been off the hard stuff for a long time. Might probably smoke a little pot, maybe have a glass of wine is probably the extent of where they are now. I doubt very much that they're slamming AH and stuff still, but also, man, they have more money than they know what to do with. So they've got nutritionists and they've got trainers and they've got people on the road to put them back together. That's a huge, and Skinner,
so being super rich can offset at least
aging
a decade or two of really, really hard living.
Yeah, I mean, unless you hit, unless you get
the
cancer curse or something like that.
And obviously a few of those guys never made it past their, 30s.
Right.
If they did an OD, but if after that, it seems like a lot of these guys have gone for
like rarely are they like dropping dead in their 50s or even 60s.
Early or late.
It's early or late.
Yeah, extreme one way or the other.
And you got to think about it. And Skinner wrote a song about the machine, working for the MCA, working for MCA. It's a machine. And Pink Floyd wrote a song about it, Have a Cigar. It's this whole big conglomerate that their job, Ben, is to make sure you, Ben, are on stage that night. Why? Because it feeds my family. It puts money in my pocket. So I'm going to do for you whatever I need to do to get your ass out on that stage 200 times a year, because that's how I eat. So once that machine gets going, it's hard to turn it off. And, I think a lot of musicians they become a little forlorn with man, I miss, and they all talk about it. I miss playing in the swamp at the Hell House with my boys, spending an entire day riding Freebird. One guy came in with an idea. Ronnie goes, that sounds good. I'm going to go fishing. Comes back, sings all the words to Freebird that he wrote while he was fishing down at the swamp. That's what they miss. And then they're like, oh, cool. We're off to Davenport, Iowa to play a show. Like the big machine is what gets you. And they'll do whatever they got to do to get them back on stage. So I think that's the answer to your question is whatever it takes. That's how they get back on stage. They know they have to because there's more than just them and their art depending on it. It's a record company needs to get paid and the band managers need to get paid and the family's got to eat and everything else. So, man, it's really riveting. And it's one of the reasons I like this job so much because I do liken what we do sometimes to what a band does. Except we don't tour. We're just here and we're doing a 4-hour set here every day, but it very much is
what would a tour look like?
It'd be terrible. Are you kidding me? What if we had to go in a van? Like, all right, we're off to Pomona this week. Yep. Do an appearance there. Hit the van. I'll drive this ship. All of you got next. I mean, it'd be horrible. You guys could have done it in my 20s.
The Ben Woods World Tour.
The World Tour would be awesome.
Spend like
we'll
3 months.
Chicago next week talking Padres baseball.
Yeah, right.
East Asia. We're doing Singapore, and then we're hitting Jakarta, and we're.
People are, what is going on? Who are these guys?
We don't care about the Padres.
Yeah, we don't care about the Padres here. But man, I was so bummed last night, and of course have been just as I usually do, just Skinnered in my ears, and just one of the great American rock bands, and passed away yesterday. And that's my tribute to Prince Charming, Gary Rossington. He was legendary. And the cool thing too, their producer said, the first guy that produced him goes, you know what's weird is when 17 and 18-year-old kids walk into a recording studio and they've got every solo down because they spent hours practicing, hours. Like they walked in, they're like, all right, here's our song, Freebird. And the solo was the same that they always played it. They worked it out. They played it until it was, till it was muscle memory. And I just went, man, I love their work ethic so much. And I just love their music, man, just such badasses. So rest in peace to the great Gary Rossington. Shout out to his family. Got a couple of daughters still alive. But yeah, the last
shout out to his family.
There it is. The last remaining member of the original members of Lynyrd Skynyrd.
Well, I'm looking forward to a lot of Lynyrd Skynyrd music today.
I love
because
Lynyrd
I like Lynyrd Skynyrd too.
Oh, so good.
Welcome everybody into the new week here. It is if you're watching on our YouTube stream, you can see it's a little light out behind me. This is the last Monday it'll look like that at 6:11 a.m. Time changes this coming weekend, so it'll be pitch black to start our show
All right,
starting
walk me
next
through
week
it
again.
Walk me through this again. You
Spring-
have to walk me through it every year.
Spring ahead, so darker in the morning, lighter in the evening. You'll
Okay.
have more time outside. It'll be light like 6:30, 7 o'clock at night next week at this time.
So again,
or not this time, but this day.
when Taylor goes to bed, it's going to be light outside.
Correct.
So it'll look like
This.
that right now outside at 7-Eleven
Okay.
next week.
There was a time when I hated it. Now I think I might like it. A lot of golfers enjoy it. You get the extra hour. Morning show guys usually hate it because you feel like you lose an hour of sleep in the morning. So it's a little bit tougher for us, but you adapt pretty quick, much like we will.
People with young kids, not a big fan because the kids don't know. They don't look at the clock. They just get up when they get up. So all of a sudden they're getting up an hour earlier.
Are they though? Because it's dark.
Or they're staying up an hour later.
They want to stay up a little
Yes,
later.
they want to stay up an hour later on this end.
Dad, it's still light outside. Yeah, I don't care. It's still 7. You have to go to bed.
Not tired yet.
Because I've lost an hour of sleep in the morning, son. You are now going to go to bed when it's light outside.
Speaking of kids, shout out to all of them that I saw on Saturday afternoon at Petco Park. I went down for the Science Expo and worked at the 10 News booth for a couple of hours. We have our 10 News experience where you get kids and they come, and we had a line the entire time. That place was packed.
Bumping.
On Saturday. They had robots and chemistry experiments and goop and all the science stuff that kids absolutely love. It booths all over the place.
Petco Park?
This is at Petco Park.
Oh,
yeah,
it's killer.
thousands and thousands of people. We were set up right by the Lexus Club, just on the main level, so high traffic area. Had a line the entire time. Our 10 News experience is a booth where essentially we have a green screen and we hand the kids a microphone, and I've got cue cards and a script, and they put the pictures behind them. You can do either a traffic, weather, or fire report.
No sports.
And
huh?
you they don't have a sports one for us. No highlights. It's hard enough to keep the kids on track with.
I bet they all pick weather.
It was a lot of mix. Some people, it was almost even between the fire, traffic, and weather kids. But I must have, the entire time I was there, and I was only there for about 2 hours, maybe 100 to 150 kids, just one after another. And they're so small, so I'm like having to bend way over to hand them the microphone, hold the cue cards, and I mean, they had me doing all the work, and it was fun. It was good to see everybody. Saw some tier ones who stopped by and said hello. So shout out to everyone who came by. But then I missed your big event because it was at the same time on Saturday afternoon at Snapdragon Stadium.
Gotta tell you, man, I was a little nervous about the outdoor game that the Seals played, and boy, I was not nervous when it was over. It was spectacular.
Why don't you hold, because I want to hear all about it.
Yeah.
We want to get to our first break here. We get a good week, good show. Obviously, we'll talk about the Padres weekend that was at spring training.
A lot of Ben and Woods out in the community this weekend. That makes me very happy. All three of us were out there representing the show this weekend. We'll talk about all of it.
So it'll be fun. We'll get to some Padres talk, more thoughts on the pitch clock over the weekend, more people who like it, more people who don't. Blake Snell, not a big fan of it. No surprise. Heard some comments from him yesterday after his first start of the Cactus League. So we'll get into all of that as well. Aztecs clinch a conference championship. Get ready for the Mountain West tournament in a couple of days. So a little college basketball talk as well. Sammy Spring Training will check in from Peoria later on. Should be a good one as we get a new week started. Glad to have everybody with us on the radio, on the Odyssey app, on the YouTube stream. We'll be right back and get going with the Daily Ditty. Paul finally breaks the string of Woods theme selections this week with our pick when we come back. Yes. After a check of
Better be
traffic.
Skinner. That's all I know.
Ben Woods on San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan.
Oh! Paul continues to surprise me every day.
We sure this wasn't a
I
Ben
thought this was a
selection?
Ben
I did too for a
selection.
second.
I can picture him driving around in a sedan. Crank it up. If
Yeah.
you can. You want to? Or are we get in trouble?
All
All
right.
right.
I think I got it fixed.
Do you?
We'll find out.
All right. I remember Chevy Chase was in this video when we were kids. Remember that?
I can't picture the video, but
You know what's funny? I used to hate this song. I think I kind of like it now. I know I'm getting
I'm actually
older.
with you.
Yeah, I think I loathed it. I loathed it. And now I'm like, this sounds pretty
his
damn
name's
good to me.
his name's Paul, but he says you can call him Al.
Yeah.
I hadn't
yeah.
heard this song in a long time, and I heard it. I played it yesterday, thinking about my daily ditty, and I found myself kind of bouncing up and down. I go, not bad.
All
Not
right.
bad.
So it's Paul Reindl playing Paul Simon. Is that the theme? Son of a
Ding,
bitch.
ding, ding,
Dingo,
ding.
dingo,
dingo.
dingo. What the?
A baby, a
Dingo.
dingo ate my baby.
Yes,
Dingo.
it is. I'm egotistical. I'm not egotistical enough. It's not bands that are named Paul, but it is bands or artists that have your name.
They have somebody.
Yeah.
Wait, somebody in the band has your name, or
Yeah, we can. Well, we can
because there's no
deviate.
An
Steve.
artist
Stevie
or-
Nicks,
Stevie
Artist
Nicks,
or band name.
Steven
Stevie-
Stills,
Stevie Ray Vaughan.
Stevie Ray Vaughan,
Ben might have a little more
Tougher.
trouble.
Ben,
Ben Harper.
Ben Harper,
Ben
Folds.
folds
Ben
five.
folds fives in his wallet. Ben hoards fives in his wallet. Ben. Yeah.
I'll think about it.
All right. Good. I like that, Paul. I like that a lot.
You know, that's actually you go to Spotify, you just type in
Ben.
Ben and hit artist, and it just boom, just
It's not as hard as it used to be.
populates pretty quickly. So I'll find something for that theme. All right, name's the same as the person picking the song this week for our daily ditty
Oh, I like that.
on Paul's selection. All right, you were about to tell us a little bit about, and I saw the pictures in the morning when they had it all set up at Snapdragon Stadium for the Seals game against Las Vegas. First ever outdoor NLL game at Snapdragon Stadium. The field looked phenomenal.
It's amazing.
But then I didn't get to watch the game because I was out at the Science Expo. So how did it go? I know they won.
Yeah, they won.
But and the highlights I saw, they look great.
They
but
did.
tell me all about it.
It was so well done, and I'm so I get to show up with an hour and a half to spare and walk in, and I've got my spot, and I do my job, and I leave. I did not have to be a part of the planning, the preparation, and from what I heard from a couple of the guys there, the glass that they brought in, they had to go to Vegas and pick it up and fly it back piece by piece. Like it was such an excruciating thing to build this deal and to pull this game off, and they did it, guys. It was seamless. I mean, yes, there were things going around behind the scenes like, oh, this monitor's not working, or I'm not getting feed. And I think our DJ had a tough time. His computer actually froze, so he only had about 14 songs to pick from, and he's spinning stuff the whole show. The music goes, as you know, the whole time. But man, every game there's issues. There's plenty of issues at Pechanga Arena when we play there. It went off without a hitch. And Joe was there, got to see him. The commissioner of the NLL was there. Paul Rabel was there, who runs the PLL. And everybody that's anybody in the game of lacrosse was there. And we knocked it out of the park, man. Like the players did, we did, the production team did. It was so awesome to play a game outside. And Snapdragon, my God, it is a beautiful facility. Now, I meant to tell you guys this. Think about Snapdragon, you're like, it's not the world's biggest stadium. It's not. It's perfect.
It
perfect size.
feels so. If you've ever been to Qualcomm Stadium, the first time you go to Snapdragon Stadium, it feels tiny.
It does.
Because
That
I
being
mean,
said-
if you're comparing it in your mind, all right, I'm sitting here in Mission Valley. I'm used to this giant 65,000 seat stadium, and you go into, 30,000 and change Snapdragon, and it feels like it's barely there.
I
Like,
just
cool,
drove
though.
past it for the first time, like Tuesday or Wednesday last week. I was
Yeah.
going to IKEA next door, and I hadn't even driven down Friars since it's been completed and opened up and everything. And you're driving down Friars, like it's right there.
It's right there. And
You can look inside.
so
Like
I was going to tell you guys this. You can call Snapdragon small if you want until you park deep in the purple lot and you got to walk your ass over. And then when I left, I went the wrong way. I went the wrong way and had to walk all the way around. my Fitbit was like, bro, you're 10,000 steps over where you need to be today. So well done. And I'm dying. By the time I got back to my car, it took me forever.
Seals didn't hook you up with the premium parking right across from the entrance there.
The purple, I think, was our premium parking that day. So, but it was a hike. But man, it was awesome. The crowd showed up. I want to say, my buddy texted me, he said 8,400 people, which was pretty solid. And I'll tell you, man.
Yeah, they weren't using the whole stadium.
No,
It was just right in the closed end by the scoreboards, and it looked really good.
They didn't have people behind me.
Even.
Yeah. But it was weird because I'm you do that. Like if you're calling a game and you start to sweat it because doors are open and there's 14 people there. And you're like, oh my God, if we do all this work for this. And man, all of a sudden I'm talking to Mike Grace, who's the production guy, and blah, 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 and I happen to look up and I go, oh God, look at that. It filled in. And people went nuts. Little harder to get the crowd pumped up outside because the sound goes up and not around. But man, they were great when I needed them to be. And the players were so appreciative. It was so fun, man. So fun, so hard hitting. A lot of goals, 15-12, 27 goals. So we won. A big win, but it was so cool. And I just wonder that the brass loved it so much that I'm sure all the people under them are like, oh God, what's next? Oh God, we're doing this again. But it was incredible. It was an incredible day. It was one of the longer days I've had in a while because we had T-ball opening ceremonies that morning, which went great. My little guy hit 11 bombs. Shout out, Bo. Very proud of you. It was very special.
Like Juan Soto at the home run derby.
Yeah, he hit 11 bombs, and I saw Coach out there. Coach's grandson was the hitter right before Bo, and that kid can flat out mash as well. He was dropping bombs out there. So it was just really, really special, dude, to see these little kids go out there and play, and to see like there's another kid scout who couldn't hit anything a couple weeks ago, and we've been working with him. And he's out there dropping bombs. Jackson Cooper, shout out to him. He won for our team. He hit 12, and it's Bo's best friend. And he beat Bo by 1. And man, that kid 2 years ago couldn't hit a ball if he when it was on a tee. And for him to go out there and hit as many seeds as he did made my heart very, very warm. I think coaching is going to be very, very important for me.
Saw that a lot of people pointed out it was a winning Saturday around San Diego.
It was, man.
Padres won a spring training game. Not that matters too much, but Gulls won, Aztecs won, Seals won. Aztecs not only won, but it was senior night, and they clinched the conference championship outright. Got to cut down nets. It's always a thrill to see Brian Dutcher do another trust fall off the ladder. Did you see the video of him getting caught by his team and get another Gatorade bath at Viejas Arena? Very cool for the Aztecs fans. I know regular season conference championships feel like in the age of the NCAA tournament, hey, it doesn't really matter, does it? But, as Dutch said, it takes months to win a conference championship. It takes one good day to win a game in the NCAA tournament. And yeah, you'll be really disappointed if this Aztecs team goes one and done again. But you can't erase the fact that they went 15-3 in a really tough conference. Really took care of business, won it by 2 games over everybody else in the end. That's very hard to do, and it absolutely deserves a lot of accolades that will be completely forgotten as soon as the brackets come out this Sunday and everyone's focused on, all right, are they 6th seed? Who are they playing? What region are they in? Who could they face in the second round? Can they get all the way to the Sweet 16? It'll be all forgotten, but, for these kids, they put a lot of work in to win a conference title, and I wanted to make sure that it was recognized.
3 losses on the season?
In conference, and then 3 in the non-conference. So
you think about
24-6 overall, I believe.
You think about of those 6 to how many you feel like, man, we were right there at the end.
Maybe 5 of them.
5 of them. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like the early
Arizona, they lost. I mean, they were close in the second half, and then Arizona kind of pulled away. But Arkansas gave that one away. St. Mary's, they could have easily won. I think they lost by like 10, but they could have won that game. And then the other losses were New Mexico at home. They had the lead in the second half. I think they led in the second half. I want to say of all their losses this year, they had the loss at Nevada, which they led, obviously, and then the one they gave away at Boise where they were up, 9 with like 3 or 4 minutes to go, and they lost that one. So, yeah, there was no game where they were completely outclassed or outmatched this year, which is a really good sign for a team going into what everyone is saying is going to be the most wide open NCAA tournament maybe we've ever seen. That you could run it, you could play it 100 times, you might get 40 different winners if of the NCAA tournament,
fun,
and the
man.
Aztecs might be one of those that if everything broke right, just they got hot, they got the right matchups, maybe they can make that miracle run like a Butler or like a Loyola and get all the way to the Final Four this year. So we'll be excited next week at this time, filling out brackets and getting ready for the NCAA tournament.
Which means the tournament of drops is coming soon as well.
I'm going to need that list of availables and then put the seeds together soon this week so we can get started.
I mean, you want to talk about a wide open tournament. Oh my God.
I don't think this is wide open. It's between like 3 teams.
Later in the show, play a couple just random, and I'm going to just kind of get my mind right for like where I feel like that, like a feeling, like what kind of seed this might be. The committee kind of does that. Do the eye test.
Yeah, the eye test.
And then I'll go through some of the metrics and, their net ranking and everything else, the Ken Palm, the Bart Torvik of all of our drops and really dial it in. But I got to do the eye test first and just tell, like my gut tells me that this drop is a 3 seed. That's what my gut is telling me.
No doubt.
All right, we'll come back. Padres went 2-1 over the weekend. I don't know if we want to ever speak of the one, but we can definitely talk about.
I wasn't able to watch, so I don't think it happened.
I didn't see it either. It just I saw a tweet later. Huh? No hit, huh?
All right.
All right. Let's move on from there.
All right.
A lot of thoughts on the pitch clock again this weekend. We'll get to all of that coming up. All guests on Better Woods appear on the Premier Chevrolet of Carlsbad fan hotline. Save money the right way with Premier Chevrolet of Carlsbad. Visit them today in the Carlsbad Auto Mall. Chevrolet, find new roads. Talk about the Padres weekend in Peoria when we come back on San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan.
think one of our beloved tier ones must have had ESP because as we went to break, I said, Paulie, remind me at 8.
What does ESP stand for, everyone? Does everyone know? Can I Bensplain?
Yeah, I have no.
I know what it is.
I know
Yeah.
what it is.
No idea what it stands for.
Extra sensory perception.
Should have figured that out.
Okay.
Yeah. It's like a sixth sense.
Yeah, sixth sense. And I said to Paulie, I said, hey, at 8, remind me when we come back and reset the show. I want to talk about your weekend. Paulie was doing a little league action himself, and a caller called in.
Yeah, Anthony is on the line. What's up, Anthony?
Hey guys, good morning.
Morning.
Yeah, so I just wanted to shout out Paul, man. Thank you for coming out there. It was an awesome opening day down at RPLL. Kids loved it. Swinging Friar was a big hit, and yeah, man, we just really appreciate all you guys do for the community.
Thank you,
dude. That's so cool.
That's nice.
So Paulie was asked by a friend of ours too, Aaron, if he would come down and kind of be the opening ceremony master, whatever you call it, the MC. For what is it?
Rancho Penasquitos Little League.
So cool.
And it was their 50th anniversary as a league. And it was the first opening day ceremonies since the pandemic.
Oh, that's rad.
So it was a big deal. Ton of people, dude.
Tons,
Like,
yeah.
I think they said 620 kids.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
We have
in the league.
697 in our league. It's insanity.
Parents, alumni. I mean,
Yeah.
like I said, it's 50 years. So they brought out anybody and everybody that's been a part of the league and building it to where it's at now. It's an amazing facility, like Black Mountain area up there off the 56, and local politicians were there. The Pod Squad showed up. The
That's so
Friar
cool.
was there.
So
Yeah,
cool.
it was great, man. It was a ton of fun. And yeah, a lot of listeners, a lot of kid listeners. I keep learning that. And every single time
Still domes me
kind
out.
of freaks me out
Yeah, me
because they're
too.
always in the car on their way. Oh, about 7:15, 7:30. And I'm like, oh, what do you guys listen to every morning? Like, yeah, listen to Don't Do This.
Oh, cool.
Oh,
Guns
cool.
and drugs.
Guns,
and
rape,
and
drugs,
murder
alcohol.
and cool.
What did John Morant do today?
Yeah, seriously. I'm like,
All right, it's the Antonio Brown segment.
guy hit me the other day and he's, Woodsy, how you doing, man? Great to see you out here. I'm like, oh, thanks, man. He's like, hey, Mikey, this is Woodsy. And he's like, little 10-year-old. I'm like, please don't let your kids listen to this.
But do.
But do.
You know.
Don't
No, it was-
not do
It
it.
was awesome. That was a lot of fun. A lot of
Good.
fun.
Very cool.
All three of us
a lot
out
of
in the
Ben Woods out in the
community.
community
Oh, yeah.
this weekend. That was great. I like that. It doesn't happen every weekend, but I think we're planning to go to the Loyal game
Yes,
on Saturday
Saturday.
night, the opener on
Can't wait.
against Detroit. I
Detroit.
believe they're playing on Saturday in the season opener, so that'll be fun as well. A lot of chances to see Ben and Woods out in the community. This hour on 97.3 The Fan is brought to you by Bob's Discount Furniture, home of the world-famous Bob-O-Pedic mattresses with all the comfort and quality of a national mattress brand for half the price. No matter your budget, there's a Bob-O-Pedic Memory Foam Hybrid or Hybrid Plus mattress for you. Check them out at mybobs.com. All right, we got a lot of Padres news from the weekend that was in Peoria. We'll get to all of that after a check of traffic here on 97.3 The Fan.
From the premier Kia of Carlsbad Traffic Center, part of the Premier Auto family, here's Kelly Tannick.
Well, our Monday morning continues to be problem-free on our roads, guys. No incidents, no accidents, really not much slowing going on at this time. Might find a little tight traffic developing out of Santee on the westbound side of the 52. Also, some bunching up on the Coronado Bridge, starting around mid-span, heading over the island. I'm Kelly Danik with Ben and Woods, San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan.
All right, we'll just briefly touch on the Padres getting no hit by 7 Cubs pitchers on Friday night. Spring training doesn't count, doesn't mean anything. I will say I did not watch the game. I kind of assumed
It was blacked out for me on MLB Network.
yeah, I other people
I
were
saw
having
like
the same
half-
problem.
Some people were able to get it.
I saw
Some were not.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think we have Cox cable, and it wasn't on Bally's. And I was told the Cubs feed would be aired on MLB Network, and on the guide, even on MLB Network, it said Padres at Cubs,
And it didn't show up.
and it was like top 10 center fielders on repeat with Cameron Maven and Brian Kenny.
Awesome.
I kind of
it's really
assumed, okay, well, they got no hit. They probably just, it was a bunch of minor leaguers in the lineup or something. It was Grisham and Cronenworth, Machado, Cruz, Carpenter, Nola. Now they only got 1 or 2 at bats each, and then they put in a bunch of the minor leaguers. So it's not like they did everything they could to prevent the no hitter. But considering how well everyone's hit so far in spring training, almost every single game, multi-hit, all the stars have been fairly hot for the Padres to start spring training. that felt very weird that all of a sudden there's one game you get no hits at all. So I just kind of washed it and didn't pay much attention to it going forward.
What are you going to do? What are you going to do if there's a no-hitter in the regular season? It's an anomaly. It could happen. We've seen it happen before with good players in the lineup. It's just some nights it's not your night, especially in spring training. Some nights it's really not your night.
I mean, back in 2021, when they got no hit by that kid for the Diamondbacks.
Still don't remember his name.
I don't either.
It got into my head.
But it certainly was either a warning sign or a culmination
Correct.
of bad things happening for that team.
I'll give $50 to anybody in this room that can name that kid. Search
I
your
don't know
memory.
his name.
I couldn't even tell you his first name.
Nick something. It's a guess. That's a total guess.
I don't remember.
But alleviating any concerns, the Padres went out and won their next 2 games. They got hits. They got 10 runs yesterday.
Well, let's talk about Friday though for a second,
Okay.
because as bad as it was, the offense, again,
It wasn't Nick.
well,
It was Tyler
Tyler
Gilbert.
Gilbert.
Tyler
Gilbert.
Could have made $50 off of me this morning, fellas, if you guys knew your business. Let's talk about Julio Teheran, Ben, because Julio Teheran pitched 3 innings of 3-hit baseball, struck out 3, no walks, has not allowed a run this spring, and is kind of becoming a guy where there could be a roster spot available for him. And if there's not, somebody may want him. I don't know exactly how that works. I don't know what kind of deal he's on. Minor league deal?
He's on a minor league deal that if he is not on the major league roster on opening day, he can opt out and become a free agent and
somebody
sign
can
with
sign him.
another team,
Okay.
which is going to make it a tough decision for AJ and Bob what they want to do. Now,
Because if he does make the roster, I believe his salary is with incentives about $6 million that he could earn. I think with incentives, I'm not sure what the base is, and I don't know, cap and everything and where they want to be. But why would you bring a guy in to compete? And if he competes and wins the job, go, well, we're not going to pay you.
I think it's more the roster spot that's kind of the tough part. Now,
but I feel like there will be one
If-
because of Joe.
if Joe starts on the injured list, but Joe said this weekend, he's doing a hyperbaric chamber twice a day,
He's so
driving
funny.
40 minutes in the morning, 40 minutes in the afternoon to some therapy center in Arizona where he gets in a hyperbaric chamber, puts on like an oxygen mask and, to try to speed the
course.
healing of
Love
his
it.
toe. It's, this is Joe just trying to determine to get back onto the field. And he said he's hoping not to miss any starts. Now, he qualified that and said, that might mean being like the 6th man in the 6-man rotation, almost an extra week before you can say I missed a start, because he doesn't want to miss a start in his entire 5-year contract extension.
Right.
If you miss the first one, you're kind of out. You can't do that for 5 years. So he wants to make sure at the very least he gets a start somewhere in that first week. But then that means you probably can't put him on the injured list, which means that 40-man spot will have to bump someone off because Julio Teheran is not on the 40-man. That sometimes makes it a little trickier. Not the money so much, but how are you going to juggle and manipulate the roster to make a spot for him if you do want him on the team to start the year?
Padres Obsessed West says, I was at the Cubs game. I got to see history. Yeah, you did. You got to see a, what was it, 7
pitchers,
7 Cub pitcher combined. No. And again, please remember it's spring training, number 1. But also remember, they're rolling guys out there that you're like, no idea.
Had the Padres thrown the no-hitter, do you think Adam would have asked us to do an emergency show?
I would bet you that he would have had us in here on Friday night to talk about a no-hitter in spring
Do you
training.
think part of it was that it was the first moment off for the team? They had Thursday, and then they had like 24 hours where they could just stop thinking about baseball for a
Oh,
second.
they were hungover, you're saying.
Well, they might. I mean, that would have been the night, like Thursday night to go
blow
out
it
because you
out?
didn't have to get up early for a game or a practice for the first time. Maybe they weren't at peak condition on
So
Friday.
you're saying that Bob Melvin is not riding them hard enough on their days
No,
off.
I'm saying that he probably did what he should have done, and that is, hey, get away from baseball. You guys have been working so hard.
Yeah.
We haven't taken a break in the first 3.5, 4 weeks of spring training. I mean, they've been there every single day. Take at least a few hours, go have some fun, sleep in. No one has to be there until 3:00 or whatever in the afternoon. They might not have been game ready, is all I'm saying.
That's
for
loser
Friday night.
mentality, Ben.
In the regular season, yes. In spring training, it's not. It's okay. But yeah,
it's no big deal.
But then Saturday, they came back and they beat the Diamondbacks, and the story in that one, Luis Camposano a go-ahead 2-run home run in the 8th inning. He had
Mashed it, dude.
kind of been struggling a little bit at the plate, but that had to be a confidence booster for a guy the Padres will be depending on as it stands right now for a lot of innings behind the plate this season.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of good guys got some work in. Benny, you got Suarez getting a scoreless inning. You got Hader getting a scoreless inning. Steven Wilson, Craig Stammen, all those guys scoreless inning. Pedro Avila, not so good. Sean Poppin came in, got out of the 7th, threw a scoreless 8th. And then Campisano hits that bomb, and that's exactly what you want to see from him. He's a bat. I mean, that's kind of if you're going to weigh it out, is he a defensive catcher? Is he a hitting catcher? He's a hitting catcher, and the defense hopefully will come along and get better and better. But you have him in there because he can swing it, and swing it he did, hit a big bomb. So that was nice to see. I know, the average probably isn't where he wants, but spring training, you're working on stuff. You're trying to get comfortable, get your timing down. Not worried in the slightest.
Suarez also announcing that he will not be participating in the WBC for Venezuela. He wants to stick around Padres camp and focus on the upcoming season.
It's very strange because I love the WBC so much and I'm so very excited about it. But when any one of our players bows out, I'm also very excited about that as well. And I kind of wish that Juan Soto would bow out. I kind of wish he would with his bulky calf.
It's a little troublesome if they're keeping him out of games at spring training.
Now he's backfielding it, so he's back on the backfield. So it's not like he's sitting in his hotel room with his calf.
But all of a
wrapped.
sudden, he's going to be expected to go full bore 9 innings in a few days for the Dominican Republic.
I hate it.
A little worrisome.
Just back out.
And then
Put it in
there
the
was
universe.
some history was made on Saturday as well with the Diamondbacks. Their single A manager Ronnie Gajownik. Not sure I'm saying that right.
I would bet that you're not, but that's
was
fine. I wouldn't have said it. I wouldn't have
in the
said it.
dugout with Tori Lavulo, and she's going to be the first ever high single A female manager in baseball, and she was in the major league dugout for the game as well against the Padres on Saturday night, which was very cool. And then yesterday, offenses broke out against the A's, 10 runs and a 10-3 win. Blake Snell, I think the story though yesterday. Came in 3 innings, gave up a solo home run on the second batter of the game.
Pretty decent pitch. It was a hanger, but it hung kind of low and in, and the guy just dropped.
And he said after the game, and I don't know anything about Kevin Smith, but he did enough homework, and he said low and in is the only place that guy can hit. And that was my mistake. I put it in the wrong spot.
Had he hung that ball up in the zone, he probably gets that swing and miss.
But then he came back and didn't allow another run. He struck out 4. I saw Sammy, though, talk to him after the game and asked him about the pitch clock. And Blake definitely was not a fan. He says, I do not like to be rushed. I do not like it. It's going to take more getting used to. I know no one cares what I think, and it's not going to change, and I'm going to have to get used to it. But he was clearly not a fan, did not feel comfortable, he said, out there being on the clock.
Don, Sweens, and Scan were all talking about how beneficial this will be to one Blake Snell. Yeah. So you don't want that push and pull with him. It's a pitcher of his caliber and any of these guys' caliber. Comfort obviously is the most important. You want to be comfortable, right? But man, like to watch him get the ball and fire 96, hitting his spots, except for the one that he missed, was pretty solid.
With the pitch clock, it seemed like in the first inning, like you were getting it pretty quickly, and then getting it, pitching it pretty quickly, like with 8-7 seconds left.
Yeah, I don't understand the pitch clock too well right now, so I don't really understand where I need to be releasing the ball. But the more I pitch, the more I'll be aware of that, to where I won't have to look at it every time and be like, I gotta go. I don't like pitching with a rush.
What if it works?
I have a lot of opinions that probably don't matter and probably won't even ever care to make a change. But I just think I feel rushed. But I gotta learn it, figure it out, and
embrace it.
Get better.
Embrace it so hard. Embrace it like you've never embraced anything in the world.
Clearly not a fan.
He is not happy.
I got lots of opinions
for sure.
But
I wonder if that's part of the reason why he's been a little more quiet this spring. Now he's ahead of where he was last year by leaps and bounds.
He's healthy.
Really, any year since he's been with the Padres, he seems like he's starting on the best foot he's been with this team yet. So you'd think he'd be talkative and excited and happy, yet we've seen a little more of a reserved Blake Snell this spring.
You never know. I mean, it's a walk year for him. He knows that he's got to pitch well. I mean, here's the thing. Does he? depending on what he wants to command in the market, does he even need to pitch well? If you're Blake Snell, let's be honest.
12-8.
Look
Mike
at
Clevenger got 12 or 13
Look,
million.
Manaya got
I think.
25. 25 million
Snell's
for
getting
2
paid.
years. He's
No-
going to get
no
paid
doubt.
regardless.
Benton Woods Open taking place Thursday, April 6th at the Rancho Bernardo Inn.
Yeah.
Remember, slots in the tourney go on sale Wednesday, March 22nd. Thanks to our sponsors, Coastal Fire and Integration Systems, Cobra Golf for help making it all happen. We'll have more details as the weeks go on, and we'll come back with a little take on Woods in hour number 2 of Benton Woods next on The Fan. Hour number 2, Benton Woods. Ladies and gentlemen, the week
Ladies and gentlemen, the week
Is here.
It does not work as well. It does not work as well.
Hey, it'll pass. We'll get to Friday again, and it'll be the weekend. But right now, we got some work ahead of us, staring it down over the next 5 days, but should be a good 5 days.
Ladies and gentlemen, the weekend.
It sucks.
It's here.
It sucks. Ladies and gentlemen, the week.
Ladies and gentlemen, the week.
That's perfect. I'm going to open Monday's show with that. Just phenomenal. Phenomenal work.
We got some Take on Woods coming up here. If you want to try to qualify for our getaway to Vegas concert tickets while you're there, 38 special, 833-288-0973. We're going to play in about 7 or 8 minutes. So you can get on early. You can wait a couple of minutes, however you want to play it. But we will be doing Take on Woods in just a short time. Now, we used Mike Clevenger as that example of getting paid in the offseason. Didn't bring up the news from yesterday, though, that Major League Baseball, the investigation concluded, and Mike Clevenger will not be facing any MLB discipline from the incident, the accusations of domestic violence and child abuse. So I guess he's good to go with the Chicago White Sox moving forward. Now, it does leave a lot of gray area and unanswered questions,
which it usually does these days. In situations like this, I saw that too, Ben, and I listened to to the accuser when she went on sports radio in Chicago. I listened to the entire interview, man. And I'll tell you, I had a little tear in my eye thinking about it. And we've met Clev so many times. We talked to Clev so many times. You can't. It's so hard to talk about because I believed her. When I listened to her stories, I believed her. And is it weird to say that I still do? I still believe her. And I don't know, again, I don't know what an MLB investigation is. I don't know.
Well, I mean, they at least documented what they did. They spoke to 15 or more people, including the accuser, Mike Clevenger, and a ton of people around them. They also had thousands of documents and communication records. So text messages between the two people, I'm assuming, like thousands of them, and they looked through that, and they had professional investigators going through this, and they determined what they found. At least now, it doesn't mean he didn't do anything.
Right.
It doesn't mean he did, but they didn't find. And this isn't a court of law. It's not hey, we got to prove this beyond a shadow of a doubt.
Right.
It's the investigators looking, and if they think it seems pretty clear that he did something wrong, then MLB can issue a suspension. They can issue a fine, and that's what usually happens.
I'm very surprised that they didn't, based on her testimony, and
it leads me to believe that a lot of the other evidence did not corroborate what she was saying. I don't know that that's true though, but that's certainly how it's going to read. The
thing that got me, this is what hit home for me, and it made perfect sense in my mind when she said it. She goes, "Hey, if I'm out for a money grab here, that's how my daughter eats. My daughter eats when he makes money. So if he gets suspended and he loses money, I lose money. I have nothing to gain here, nothing." And she said over and over in this interview, Ben, all I ever wanted was for him to get the help that he needed. That's what I'm really about. I want him to be a good father. I want him to be a good person. He's got 2 women that have fathered his children. Not a good reputation by either of them. So again, if it's about money, then why would you attack his money? And so that's the thing where it didn't make sense in my head. The other thing that we absolutely know, is that the numbers are staggering. The women that don't actually come forward. And why? Because of this. That's why they don't come forward. Because, well, we looked and we didn't really find anything that's concrete. Now, there was a video that came out months ago. We did it on Don't Do This. It was a former NFL player, and the video was him throwing his girlfriend, the mother of his child, across the room. Remember, she hit the TV. The TV fell on top of her. He came over. He punched her again. You know what he just got? He got 6 months in jail. That guy should be going away for decades. It's video. So that's why these women don't come forward and say, well, I mean, what do you need? What do you need? I guess these days you need video.
Yeah, with the same process, with the accuser in the Trevor Bauer case, who was not, no charges have stuck legally, but MLB investigators saw fit to
Suspend him
issue the
for-
longest suspension in baseball history based on the evidence they gathered in the Trevor Bauer case.
It's just tough. It's just tough.
So you can't say that MLB does nothing or they're looking the other way.
But logically, though, the logic of it tells you when you listen to her interview. And hey, for those saying I'm a gold digger, why would I take gold from him? I want the gold, right? Give me the gold. Why would I go after his gold if all I want is gold? And again, she said I wanted him in therapy. She gave him 100 chances after some of these alleged incidents went down and says, Mike, go to therapy. I'm not going to rat you out. Get yourself some help. And he never did.
Yet Mike has maintained that this is not true and that the facts would exonerate him. And so far, Major League Baseball seems to agree. So
it's so weird.
Are you biased now against Mike Clevenger and unfairly treating him? And now you've colored how you're viewing him, even though it's the evidence, at least that Major League Baseball gathered, didn't back her statements enough to even issue a suspension, much less an arrest, charges, anything like that. Nothing like that. Yet his reputation is
over,
forever harmed.
Forever.
Despite the fact that we don't even know what did or didn't happen. It's not fair, really, to either side. Someone is lying, someone is telling the truth, and we may never know which one it is.
In relationships, I think there can be a little bit of both.
That's true.
I think there's some truth to this. There's some over exaggeration to this, right? It happens. But I don't know. I mean, I think that's a fair statement. Yeah, I think I have colored my perception of Mike Clevenger as a guy I really, really used to like. And you hear these accusations and you hear those interviews and you see now that there was some evidence that was released that anybody could see. And it was text messages from his agent, gaslighting this woman saying, his ex is crazy. So here's the thing. Everybody else is crazy. He's the unluckiest guy in the world. I worked with a guy once that blamed everything in his life that was bad on everybody else. And you must have been just the unluckiest guy in the world. Nobody wants to work with you. Nobody likes you, but it's everybody else's fault. So that to me, it reeks of that kind of narcissistic personality of like, it's not me. I would never, I didn't do anything. Are there men that are falsely accused? Yes, absolutely there are. But I can tell you that percentage is way smaller.
You're 100% right.
Way smaller than the women that don't come forward. And it's just so hard to delineate like what's the truth.
And I guess the good part is Mike Clevenger has said, I will submit myself to like evaluation.
Yeah.
He's going to be monitored. So, hopefully if there was anything that happened, at the very least, it won't happen again, or MLB will be on top of it. But again, I think we're left with more questions than answers from this Major League Baseball investigation.
And that's standard. That's standard in all of these cases. We're always left with more questions than answers, unless there is video of a guy if there was video of Clev taking his lipper out and throwing it at his kid, guess what? He's getting suspended. If there was video of him taking the water bottle, throwing it at the window, he's getting suspended. If there was video of him, putting his hands on her, he's getting suspended. I guess record everything. That's the only solution. Record everything, because I just don't know that the victims really get a fair shake.
Still need a contestant for a Take on Woods. Call right now, 833-288-0973. Chance to qualify for a getaway to Las Vegas in our musical trivia contest. But we need you to call right now, 833-288-0973. Before that, I will tell you the country music superstar Sam Hunt going to be taking over Resorts World Theater for a limited 2-night engagement on Friday, April 21st, Saturday, April 22nd. Tickets are on sale now at axs.com. That's AXS.com and RWLasVegas.com. You can listen to 97.3 The Fan on the Odyssey app for your chance to win a pair of tickets to see Sam Hunt at Resorts World Theater. 2-night stay at Resorts World Las Vegas. Every hour you listen now through March 19th equals one entry in the contest. Again, 833-288-0973.
We a country station now?
Just giving away prizes, not equal opportunity prize givers here. One sad note in baseball, I saw the Rays radio announcer, Dave Wills. Who I didn't know him, but seemed like he was really beloved, very popular man in Tampa, St. Pete area. Was calling spring training games down there, and
58.
Passed away very unexpectedly at the age of 58. He was on the air one day and then just passed
Gone the
away and
next.
just gone the next. And just a shocking situation for fans and the Tampa Bay Rays organization. And I wanted to bring that up. I didn't, like I said, I didn't know much about him, but all the tributes and everything I saw pouring out over the weekend. 58, just that's too bad. I mean, so sad.
Yeah, very sad.
With could have been calling games for a long time. So
Did you say too bad?
it's too bad, so sad. Not in that way.
That's something Bo says to his friends
Not
when
that,
he
not
takes
that
a
bad,
toy from him.
in like a sincere way. It's too bad.
Too bad,
It's
so sad.
Genuinely too bad. So sad.
Too bad.
Not
So sad.
not in that flippant way that Bo says.
Yeah, too bad. So sad. Like when
Never, you know what?
if I beat someone and take on Woods,
Too bad, so
so sad.
All right, let's move on and let's play Take on Woods before this gets any worse. All right, speaking of prizes, here's what we've got up for grabs this month on Take on Wood. So we've got concert tickets to see 38 Special live on April 28th at the International Theater at the Westgate Las Vegas Resort and Casino. Beat or tie Woods, you'll qualify for the trip to Las Vegas, including 2 tickets to the show and a 2-night stay at the Westgate Las Vegas. And we got Anthony checking back in for another crack at Woods here on Take on Woods. You've played before, right, Anthony?
No, I have not.
Oh, first one. All right. Well, welcome to the game. You've got 5 questions, 60 seconds of musical trivia. Woods has left the studio. After you go, he'll come back in the same 5 questions. And if you beat or tie him, we'll put you into the hopper for the prize. Now, you do get an advantage here. You get to pick our category. Here are your choices, Anthony. We still have X's and O's on the board. 5 song titles that begin with the letters EX or the letters OH. Jesus, I like him very much. Those are 5 musical answers that include the word Jesus. And our new category, Jump to the Machine, a song and 4 bands or artists that contain the word machine. So of those 3 choices, Anthony, X's and O's, Jesus, I like him very much, or Jump to the Machine, what category would you like to pick?
X's and O's.
X's and O's. Okay, so today we're looking for 5 song titles, again, that begin with the letters EX or the letters OH. You have 60 seconds. If you don't know an answer, say pass. We'll come back to it if there's time on the clock. And just this once for our 2-second song, which you need to give me the title and the artist to start it out. I'm going to give you and Woods a little hint here. I want the full 3-word title of the song I'm giving you. And remember the category. Don't forget the artist as well. So, Anthony, you ready to play?
Yes, sir.
All right, 60 seconds on the clock. Your time begins when Paul plays the music. Remember, 3-word title here. Good luck, Anthony. Let's take on Woods.
Oh, Pretty Woman, Roy Orbison.
Correct. Which single from the NWZ album Straight Outta Compton is a solo performance by Dr. Dre and features no profanity or violence? NWA.
Pass.
Which electronic music hit by the band Yellow features prominently in the movie Ferris Bueller's Day Off?
Oh, My.
Incorrect. Which 2020 Taylor Swift chart topper is a collaboration with the band Bon Iver?
Exile on Main Street.
Exile is correct. I'll give it to you. Which 1984 debut solo hit by Steve Perry is often considered an honorary Journey song since Perry was still in the band when it was released?
Oh, I don't know.
That's okay. Which single from the NWA album Straight Outta Compton is a solo performance by Dr. Dre and features no profanity or violence?
X-rated.
Incorrect. I think that's all we've got. You got which? No, you guessed all of them. So we got 2 right. Oh, Pretty Woman by Roy Orbison, and I give you Exile since that was the first word you said. It is a tough category.
2 is not bad.
No, I don't think so. So here are the ones you didn't get. Express Yourself. I don't know why I wrote NWZ. I think it's because my A is broken on my keyboard and the
How many
Z is
keys
right
do
next
you
to it.
have broken on your keyboard?
I have now 2 keyboards. F and A are both broken on my keyboard. We have Exile. Oh Yeah is the Yellow song from Ferris Bueller's Day Off. Oh Yeah. And Oh Sherry is the Steve Perry song. So hang on the line there, Anthony. Let's bring Woods back in. Waving his arms. He's on his phone. There he goes. All right, so he'll get the same 5 questions in the same 60 seconds. All right, Anthony's score is locked in. I gave him a clue. I'm going to give you the same clue. I need a 3-word title for the 2-second song. Full 3-word title.
Okay.
And the artist. All right, 60 seconds on the clock. Your time begins when Paul plays the music. Good luck, Woods. Let's take on Anthony.
Oh, Pretty Woman by Roy Orbison.
Correct. Which single from the NWA album Straight Outta Compton is a solo performance by Dr. Dre and features no profanity or violence?
Pass.
Which electronic music hit by the band Yellow features prominently in the movie Ferris Bueller's Day Off?
Oh, yeah?
Correct. Which 2020 Taylor Swift chart topper is a collaboration with the band Bon Iver?
Pass.
Which 1984 debut solo hit single by Steve Perry is often considered an honorary
Oh,
Journey song?
Sherry.
Correct. Which single from the NWA album Straight Outta Compton is a solo performance by Dr. Dre? It features no profanity or
O'Shea?
violence. Incorrect. Which
Oh.
2020 Taylor Swift chart topper is a collaboration with the band Bon Iver?
Oh, Paul.
All right, so you got all the O's right. The category was actually X's and O's.
Damn it.
So it was Express Yourself
Express
and,
yourself. Damn it, I love that song.
and Exile, and you got the 3 O's. Oh, Pretty Woman. Oh, yeah. Oh, Sherry.
Did
And
I
a
win?
3-2 win. Yeah, you just snuck it out over Anthony. A tough category, especially for you, because it was 2 very different directions on X's and O's in today's 5 questions. All right, no winner today, but we'll try it again tomorrow at this time. And
Too
see if we
bad.
can
So sad for you, Anthony. When someone dies now, instead of shout out to their family, just too bad, so sad. Move on. It's unbelievable.
Stone
That was
cold
amazing.
killer.
Too bad. So
So
sad.
He's like-
I'm rubber and you're
It was Anthony's
glue.
first time playing too. He's just like, well, F you guys.
Too bad, so sad, Anthony.
it was genuinely too bad.
it
It
was-
was so sad.
It was very moving how you said. I bet his kids
Too
really appreciate it.
bad.
So sad.
So sad.
So sad.
It's not too bad, so sad.
Too bad. So sad.
Ben also said NWZ. You go, what?
The A on my keyboard's broken, so I think I typed NWZ instead of NWA.
If he doesn't get a new keyboard, Paulie,
That's what I'm saying.
going to jump across when he writes stuff.
And we get a
out to us,
GoFundMe
yeah.
going for
There's
Ben Higgins.
pounds.
So the letter
signs.
F, the pound sign I used for the letter F, but now the A is broken, so I need to figure out something to replace.
At symbol.
Yeah, that could be A for at, possibly.
I'm like, you have 2 full-time jobs. You pull down decent bucks. Get a new computer.
This is a work computer. I have to
At
use
least
it.
get a new keyboard and mouse.
Go to your
For
work
30 bucks.
today. Who's your boss? I'm going to call your boss on the air.
So our IT, our tech guy is on paternity leave, and I can't get it fixed until he's back.
Take it to Apple and expense it. Give me the thing. I'll do it. I'll do it today.
I can't. I need it though. I need it. I've gone to Apple twice, and they said we need it for 3 days, and I go, I can't do work without it. I have everything is on here. So.
First vacation's coming up.
Yes, I am good. That's my plan.
Drop that
That is my
effer off.
plan on Tuesday before first vacation.
Yes.
and pick it up when I get back. That is 100% my plan.
Thank you. I'm a problem solver.
But that's still 2.5 weeks away.
Holy
So I'm
cow.
gonna have to muddle through without F's and A's for a
All right,
while.
All right. Well, F this.
Don't do this.
NWZ.
It's already started.
Let's put the UT.
Oh, really?
Yeah. It's
I
a
had
fun weekend.
the
for them.
Jaw Jackson duo, so maybe we'll combine those into one.
Okay.
Coming up next with Benno Woods after a check of traffic. Be right back with more on 97.3 The Fan. Good. Although on Monday, it's always tough. There just always seems to be so many don't do this candidates to choose from. But I'll get us started in the NBA. And we talked about him last week. Ja Morant now is indefinitely, I don't know if it's suspended, but he's certainly out of action in the NBA. It was 2 games, but then yesterday they said it might be longer.
Oh, really?
It might be longer as the NBA looks into the latest incident, which includes an Instagram video of Ja Morant and a gun. And this is on the heels of a bunch of other stuff that we talked about last week with Ja Morant that just continues to go on with the Memphis Grizzlies all-star. He says there's no definitive timeline now, at least according to the Grizzlies head coach, for the return for his suspension. He missed last night's game against the Clippers. He's expected to miss tomorrow night's game against the Lakers. So
how are they?
There was the mall security guard incident.
Right. There was that. There was the incident outside of the where the
pickup basketball game with a 17-year-old.
Yeah.
Now a gun on an Instagram live video.
So I talked to Paulie about this yesterday, and my initial reaction was, "What are you doing? Come on, man!" And I think it's kind of still my reaction. Then I started parsing it out a little bit, reading a little bit. He's clearly a guy that's a little bit lost right now. Clearly,
yes.
Like he's a little bit lost, and his priorities are a little bit out of whack. So people were kind of making the comments of, I mean, what did he do? He held a gun up like, yay. He didn't really break any laws per se.
Yes,
right?
But so when you're already,
I get it. I'm a little bit playing devil's advocate here, because if Ja was my son, I would say, man, you're effing up. You are. You're better than this. We raised you better than this. You're a better guy than this. I don't know what you're trying to prove. I don't know what you're trying to do. But it's not working, man. The negative attention you're getting is not worth it, because he is truly, and from a guy that doesn't even know much about the NBA, Ja and his highlight reels are some of the most exciting things you will ever see in basketball.
Yeah.
He is elite, the elite of the elite of the elite.
And the Grizzlies are having a good season.
They need him.
And as we made the point last week, there's no necessarily criminal charges with anything.
Right.
So you want to say, hey, all right.
It's a perception thing.
We're not going to punish you, but essentially, watch what's going on. Little kind of like probation. Like we gotta get to the bottom of this. Stay under the radar, for a while. Show us that you can kind of be responsible and not make headlines for anything involving a gun. So then, 2 days after that, it happens again. Obviously, the NBA is going to, the red flags are raised, the alarm bells are ringing, and they need to step in before something really, truly bad happens, whether to him or to someone else.
Yep.
You're trying to figure out what's going on here.
Yeah, it's tough. I mean, again, my initial reaction was, oh no. And then I thought, well, he needs some help. He needs somebody to talk to. There's clearly something going on with that kid that makes him act out in this way. I mean, you're an NBA superstar. Do you need that much more attention? I think there's a lot of NBA superstars that would be like, please, less attention. I want less attention when I go out. But unfortunately, all the attention he's getting is negative. I feel for him. I do. I'm not going to, summarily just throw him away. Get the help you need, man, and go out and be one of the best players in the NBA, because you already are. Right. Imagine what you could do if you had your head right, So I don't really know psychologically what's going on with him, but it's something. There's something out there.
Something absolutely is going on.
So the UT got dragged a little bit over the weekend. Now, they published what they put out as an opinion piece, but it wasn't really an opinion piece. It was just letters to the editor, and people got very, very mad at these letters to the editor.
Mad at the people who wrote the letters, or mad that the UT published?
Yeah. So essentially, it was regarding baseball. Isn't baseball fun? Guy from Escondido, Russ, says, for me, baseball was fun when I was 12. To great excitement, Manny Machado gets a $350 million contract, the price almost equal to the total cost to build Petco Park. Given the problems in the world, the trickle-down cost to fans, no, it isn't about fun, only about money, greed, and grown-ups jumping and dancing like they're still 12. I'll not support this obscene salary. What a waste. And then Judith from Hillcrest says, okay, somebody has to be negative, Nelly. If a ball player is worth $31 million a year, such as Manny Machado, why isn't a school teacher, Ms. Machado in second grade, worth at least $10 million? Compare the impacts on people's lives, futures, the importance of education vis-a-vis a sporting event. I rest my case.
So why were they dragging the UT for bad opinions
for publishing them? So that wasn't the.
Yeah, you can you know, they're reflecting, I would say, a minority opinion. It doesn't mean that there aren't people out there that have that opinion.
So then,
and it's part of the newspaper's responsibility to show kind of everybody's side to it, both the ones that the majority agree with and also what the minority is saying out there.
Sure, which is fine. But they did get dragged for those two really awful opinions. And really, yeah, teachers, if it was up to me, teachers would make $10 million a year. That's the two things can both be right. Manny Machado deserves every penny he gets, as do teachers.
Oh,
They deserve way
after
more.
doing 2 hours in the 10 News booth with kids,
Yeah.
I mean, I was exhausted. I was like, I can't believe that teachers can do this every day.
Yeah, coach a little league
for hours and hours
Hey,
and
stop.
hours. with
No, put your hat on.
just
Don't teach. That's not your
the
hat.
constant attention. You can't stop looking for a second. You never know what's going to happen. I get it. I get it.
Very wet blanket.
Yeah, very wet blanket takes. But then they published a few hours later, Ben, underdogs, Dodgers don't mind that position at all. And I went, oh my God, what is going on here? That is and I tweeted out, I said, what's more embarrassing? The underdog narrative or the fact that this is in our local paper? And I got a lot of yes, both. They're both embarrassing. And a guy said, well, hey, you can only write so many. Hey, is Blake Snell going to figure it out? Tweets or articles. And I said, well, we managed to do 20 hours of fresh original content every week without, pouching the Dodgers for every move they make. It's kind of a bummer to see in your local.
Ben, you do a great job.
Kind of a bummer to see.
It's a news story. Again, I'm going to defend the paper. Isn't part of the Padres.
Shocking!
Isn't part of the Padres story what their rivals, what their opponents are doing and how they're talking? This is simply what the Dodgers are saying. This isn't, hey, I think the Dodgers are a plucky underdog story. This is the Dodgers' words put into a story and how they're framing
these journalists,
their
Paulie,
season.
They always stick together.
Stick together.
You already got 2 jobs in media. Are you bucking for a position at the UT?
If the Dodgers said, you know what, Padres are so good, we don't even have a chance this year. Should the UT print that?
I don't know.
If Dave Roberts said
He would never say it.
Oh, I know, but
If Rainbows,
I would have said he would have never said we guarantee we're going to win the World Series either. We played that, right?
Yeah.
We played that last year.
Yeah, that's negative.
Right. So
yes, the answer is publish negative things.
It's new, but not the other things.
Correct.
You can't do that.
Is it extra sweet because it's against the Dodgers?
Just publish what they say, and then we get to have our opinions about what the Dodgers are saying. But someone needs to publish it in the first place.
How about
so
the
we can
LA Times?
How
about Sam Farmer writes a nice piece and puts it in the LA Times? Bill Shaken, maybe.
I mean, the fact that Dave Roberts says the Padres
Alden
are the
Gonzalez.
the fact that Dave Roberts says the Padres, what I hear, those guys, the Padres are the favorites in the West.
Yeah,
I don't mind it.
Vegas doesn't think so.
But that's not newsworthy in San Diego. That the Dodgers manager says the Padres are the favorites in the division.
Underdogs? The plucky Dodgers certainly think so. Like, come on, we don't need that here. I want to read about the Padres, right?
It is about the Padres.
It's not. It's about the Dodgers.
It's about the Dodgers
It's about
saying the
Dodgers
Padres are
underdog
the
story.
favorites.
We are so effing late.
I didn't click it. I only have so many free clicks, so I didn't want to waste it on that one.
Please,
I mean, it goes on to say about, Fangraphs says LA now pegged for 86 wins, 5 shy of the Padres projected total. Other projection systems say the Dodgers will be good enough to win the West. It's a comparison of 2 teams expected to battle for a division title. It's clearly a relevant part of this story for the Padres season.
Get it.
Get it.
Let's get to do this.
DD Mega Doo-Doo.
You sent this one over.
Yeah, we decided on just why not?
Oh,
I mean,
the audio?
Yeah.
Oh, it's so good.
I mean, sometimes
if Mark Grant was on the Knicks broadcast.
Yes.
Sometimes their job is to add experience, insight, perspective on the game. Maybe as a former player, you can.
Do we know who this is?
Kind of show what's going on. I don't even. So this is the Knicks radio team.
Yeah, I don't know who's on the Knicks.
I'm not sure either.
So I got a DM over the weekend from our buddy James Kincaid, and he goes, "Wait till you hear this." And I said, "All right, cool." So I played it, and I died laughing to send it to Paulie. Julius Randle hit a game-winning 3-pointer, and listen to the color analyst, Ben.
For Randle, 10 seconds, lost it, got it back, 8 seconds. Randle against Butler, 5 seconds, stripped, ball loose. Randle gets it back, 3 seconds, fade away for 3, knocks it down! Randle in the corner with 0.7 to go.
It gets better.
And the Knicks have the lead. 122-120. What a scene in Miami. Julius Randle lets it fly to broken play, and the Knicks lead by 2 with 0.7 to go.
That last one, it needs to be in the tournament of drops. It's fantastic. It's so good.
Not quite, insightful analysis.
No, but just pure emotion and joy from that man, whoever it was.
Why not?
By
That's
2 with 0.7 to go.
Knicks fans have been suffering for a long time.
so good.
Enjoying a pretty good season. And
I
that's
love
don't and do this for a Monday.
That was Don't Do This with Ben and Woods on 97.3 The Fan.
All right, we'll come back. The WBC is almost underway. We just heard some news about Juan Soto in the WBC that we'll pass along to you coming up next. Maybe talk a little bit about the Aztecs and their chances as they head closer to the NCAA tournament as well. That's next with Ben and Woods on San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3. This hour on 97.3 The Fan is brought to you by Bob's Discount Furniture, home of the world-famous Bob-O-Pedic mattresses, with all the comfort and quality of a national mattress brand for half the price. No matter your budget, there's a Bob-O-Pedic Memory Foam Hybrid or Hybrid Plus mattress for you. Check them out at mybobs.com. All right, so, we were just discussing this morning how we're both a little nervous about Juan Soto's, is it his calf or his hamstring?
It's his calf.
It's his calf that has kept him out of at least the Cactus League lineup. Hasn't kept him from doing some work and simulated games on the backfield. He said
Hit a bomb
if it was a
yesterday or the
regular
day
season game, I'd be playing. But there's just some concern that to go from that to ramping it up for like 9 innings of intense competitive baseball at the World Baseball Classic, could he be putting himself in jeopardy of an injury, like one that might keep him out for a while with the Padres? And is that an acceptable risk for something like the World Baseball Classic? We have a developing story on that, and we'll get to it right after this check of traffic on 97.3 The Fan.
From the Premier Kia of Carlsbad Traffic Center, part of the Premier Auto Family, here's Kelly Tannick.
Got a collision being moved over to the right shoulder on westbound 8 just past Lake Murray. Also westbound King Freeway near 25th Street. There is a collision that is over to the right shoulder, and on southbound 15 past Main Street. Collision involving several vehicles. Looks like this one may be blocking lanes. Also in the Fallbrook area, southbound 15 before Mission Road. There is a collision involving a couple vehicles there over to the right shoulder. And Kelly down at the Fentonwood, San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan.
All right, so Woods, you just read some news on Juan Soto a couple of minutes ago. What was it?
Paulie did.
Paulie did?
Yeah.
Kevin Acee tweeted earlier this hour that Juan Soto did not catch the flight to Florida with the other Padres on the Dominican Republic's WBC team. Soto is sticking around camp for at least a couple days for treatment on left calf. Expectation remains that he will still play in the WBC.
All right, but being a little cautious and not going with everybody else to the WBC, does that make you feel a little bit better? Does
Worse.
it make you? It makes you feel worse.
Yes.
The fact that it's serious enough that he's not going, but still planning on playing.
I mean, I guess what could potentially happen is you stick around, get some treatment, and you're like, just can't do it. I can't make
Not
it.
worth it.
If he goes, he's playing, right? If he
Right.
he gets on a plane and he goes to join his teammates, he's definitely playing. So maybe it does make me feel.
It also tells me it's worse than just, hey, it's a little sore. I can get on this plane. I'll get some treatment when I get there.
Right.
Right.
If I'm going to just completely fabricate things in my mind, then I've fabricated that
If
exact
I'm
scenario.
the Padres, I'm sure the WBC Dominican Republican team has good trainers, but you're trusting anyone other than your own staff with one of your superstar players right now. I'm not
either.
I'm really not.
And I don't know who came to this decision, whether it was the Padres and Juan or Juan alone, or but I do know that now it's definitely something to watch the next couple of days. If he doesn't get on that plane, you guys, I'm not going to be upset. I'm not going to be upset at all. Love the WBC, excited to watch the tournament. Don't care who's in it. But if you're not ready to go, and if you get hurt in the WBC, I think a lot, especially, listen, it's different entirely if you get hurt in the WBC and you weren't hurt going into the WBC. Different. Manny rolls an ankle, crap, bad luck all around, right?
Right.
But if you are like, hey, my ankle hurts, I'm going to play in the WBC, and then you hurt your ankle, then it's like, well, hey, man, this is kind of on you. That's the tough part about this tournament, and it's already giving me agita, and I don't want that.
I didn't realize. So the first game is tomorrow night that we can watch, correct? It's going to be Cuba against the Netherlands, 8 o'clock Pacific. So
Okay.
Xander Bogaerts playing for the Netherlands, and it'll be on 8 p.m. Pacific tomorrow.
8 p.m. Pacific.
Yeah, it's
Okay.
a primetime game here on the West Coast, 11 Eastern on FS1. So something that most of us can probably watch as well. So, and then on Wednesday, there'll be 3 games, one starting at 3 a.m. because there's games being played in Asia, Panama against Chinese Taipei.
Hannah can watch that as she's up at 1.
And then there's a couple of games in the evening as well. Australia against Korea, and then Panama again against the Netherlands at 8 p.m. on FS2. FS1 and FS2 with a lot of the early games.
Okay.
And then there's more games on Thursday, more games on Friday. Saturday, when does the United States play their first game, though? Not until Sunday, I believe, against Mexico is their opener at 7 p.m. Pacific on FS1.
Cool.
Will be the first game for Team USA against Mexico. The Dominican Republic team, their first game is, I believe, Saturday at 4 p.m. against Venezuela on FS1.
Such a tough position that everybody's in. Juan Soto included, right? Such a tough position. I mean, he'd be 2-hole in that lineup, playing for his country with his buddies. It's a big deal. It's a really big deal to these players. Just so you know, this is not, they take this very seriously. But man, there's bigger fish to fry, I guess, in the prospect of a World Series team, being here right now, at least on paper. I don't know, man. I'm very, very nervous about this situation.
So we have real baseball to watch this week.
Excited.
Also, it's a conference championship week in college basketball with automatic berths in the NCAA tournament on the line. That's always dramatic. San Diego State will play their first game on Thursday in the Mountain West tournament in Las Vegas. They are the number 1 seed after clinching the outright conference championship on Saturday night with a 67-50 win over Wyoming. They will play either Colorado State or Fresno State. The winner of the 8-9 game on Wednesday will play the Aztecs at noon on Thursday. And then, Friday and Saturday for the championship if they make it all the way through. Now, this is I think I saw it was the 7th time they've been the 1 seed. Only twice before have they actually won it as the 1 seed. So no guarantees. 3 games in 3 days. Anything can happen in that Mountain West Conference tournament. But Joe Lunardi had him as a 6 seed yesterday morning in his latest bracketology. So you figure if they win the conference tournament, they're probably looking at maybe 6-5, maybe even a 4, probably a 5, I would say. If they lose, in the first or second round, it could be dropped down to a 7 or an 8. So still kind of important games this week for San Diego State. Even though they're probably in the tournament, no problem, the seeding is very different between like a 5 and a 7 or an 8. So how they do could impact where they, the kind of opponent they're going to face in the NCAA tournament.
When's the tourney?
So the NCAA tournament?
No.
The conference tournament start. The Aztecs Thursday is the first game. Thursday. The other, the lower teams play on Wednesday. The play-in game first round. Aztecs get a bye and they start on Thursday, and then it'll be Thursday, Friday, Saturday. Cool. If they win all the games, and then Sunday, Selection Sunday, get all the brackets and fill them all out, and next week we'll know who's going where in the NCAA tournament. Wanted to get a call in here, 833-288-0973. We got Matthew on the line. Good morning. Welcome to Ben and Woods on 97.3 The Fan.
Hey, good morning, guys. What's going on?
Hey, buddy. How are you?
Good. I just wanted to make a brief comment or two, and then I'll jump off and hear what you guys have to say. I love your guys' show. Listened to it for a long time. So earlier you guys were talking about kind of what's going on with Major League Baseball and some of these assault allegations and what's going on. I do want to start off. I'm not a male apologist, and I also do believe that to have a functioning society, we can't just have people assaulting people based on a gender complex or a money complex.
Sure.
However, I was curious as your guys' opinion. I was thinking about it, and you guys had mentioned that you had worked with someone that, a lot of people were accusing this individual of something, and maybe they lacked self-awareness. And so that person most likely was what they were being accused of, which could be fair to say.
Sure.
I'd be interested, would you guys also believe, would it be fair to say that if everyone is accusing this said baseball player of something, but the powers that be, whether it's the district attorney, federal judges, other attorneys, prosecutors, come to them and say, hey, we can't take any of this to criminal court because there is no evidence. Would it be equally fair to say, well, maybe he's innocent, or maybe he's innocent of the more egregious crimes that he's being accused of? And then the other piece I just wanted to bring up, and wondering about your guys' opinion. One of you had mentioned, well, if someone assaults someone, they should go away for decades. And I'm not saying it was a blind comment, but decades is a long time to send someone to prison. So my question is, in the other piece that was brought up was, well, what do we need? Video evidence now?
Yeah.
Well, for as long as criminal court has gone on beyond a reasonable doubt to be found guilty, we would love video evidence. That would make someone very guilty. It is beyond reasonable doubt. So without these immediate things and without that video evidence, we need to prove that someone is guilty beyond the reason of doubt. And it's 2023. DAs, all these people would love to find you guilty. They would love to prove innocence and or justice, because we do need that as a healthy society. But to just blindly assume, and I know I heard the word bias on here earlier, to blindly assume or hold someone biased and then send them away either financially or criminally for decades is a really slippery slope, and we got to be careful. But I thank you guys for your time, and I look forward to hearing from your response.
No, I appreciate the call. I think it was me that, the video in question that I was talking about was a former NFL player, and it's clear as day. I mean, he beats this woman and throws her into a TV. The TV falls off, lands on her. And I looked at that and I went, 6 months for that. There's people in jail that have gotten caught with weed. There are drug offenses in there longer for that. And that, to me, I think is maybe not decades, but some years, some time.
Hell of a lot longer than 6 months.
Longer than 6 months. In my opinion, that's just my personal opinion. If that's something that's on video and we see it, man, it's shocking to see. Yeah, I don't know that the punishment in that specific scenario fit the crime. But the interesting thing about all of the baseball stuff with Clev and Bauer and all that, none of this really went to criminal court at all. This is all kind of public perception, and it's all within the league. And the league suspended one, the league did not suspend the other one. And I'm not really sure why. I don't know the ins and outs of the investigation. So it's more complex than a 30-second explanation.
It was a well thought out phone call.
Very well.
Definitely appreciate Matthew calling in there. We'll continue the discussion. We'll reset everything as we start the second half of Ben and Woods. Coming up next on San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan.
Halfway home on a Monday. Heavy Monday so far. Good Lord.
A little bit.
How you guys doing?
Great.
Good. Ben, how you doing?
I'm good. I made deviled eggs yesterday for the first time in my life.
Tell us about that.
Tell me about your deviled egg experience.
It was delicious. So I'm in a weird situation where there's no point of me really doing any cooking because Shelly is such an amazing cook. I'm good at like reheating things and I can help in the kitchen, but I don't take charge of any of the, the items. I don't make really the, fancy things for myself. That's just not what I do. But we had these leftover hard-boiled eggs from Costco, and I hate wasting things. I like to use everything that's in the fridge. I thought, boy, deviled eggs would be good, but Shelly wasn't home, so I called her and I said, how do you make deviled eggs? I kind of know the general principle, but she said, I don't really have a recipe. Just a little, dry mustard, a little mayo. You mix the yolks in, add some spices, maybe some herbs on top.
They're kind of a beating to make.
It was a little bit like, but they turned out great, and they were delicious.
How many did you put down?
3.
That's it?
Well,
Plus
3
full.
So 6 halves. I made 8 and I saved 2 for someone else.
That's child's play, by the way.
Is that not many?
That's child's play. That's
well, the Costco packs
away,
came in
buddy.
the 4 eggs, so I made all 8 halves, and then I could eat 4 of those, and then I ate 2 more. Of course, they were really good.
Did you see my tweet last night?
With Bo?
No, that one was funny. But I was putting him to bed last night, and we were having this really nice father-son conversation, and I told him, how proud I was of him. He was so good playing ball, and just a pretty good kid all weekend, and just really sweet and cuddly and nice, and I just said, buddy, sleep tight. I love you so much. I'm so proud of you. And he says to me, you just spit in my eye. And he starts rubbing his eye. And I'm like,
gross, Dad.
All right. Good night, pal. I'll see you tomorrow.
No, I love you too, Dad. Thank you so much, Dad, for coaching my T-ball team and
he did tell
everything
me,
you do.
He did tell me yesterday.
Spit in my eye.
We were watching Sandlot. And he was cuddled up next to me. He just looked at me and goes, you're the best dad ever. And it just kills me every time. And then, of course, Hannah goes, and I said, it's not about you right now. It's about me and the fact that I am, in fact, the best dad ever. So
I did see you signed up for a meal prep service.
Yeah, that's the one. That's the one. You weren't the only one doing some cooking yesterday, Benjamin. We signed up finally for a some sort of, it's just planning. It's the cooking and the execution. I've got hours in the day.
Did they send you the ingredients though that you need and the recipes?
The recipes, everything you need. And Hannah and I got together last week. We picked out exactly what we wanted. Okay, let's try this. Delicious chicken and mashed potato. Okay, we'll do that. It's great. We picked them all out. They sent us the box and we put them in the fridge. And so last night was the first night, and I was cooking this panko crusted chicken, mashed potatoes, and corn. Looked phenomenal. Tasted phenomenal. Problem was they only sent 2 potatoes about the size of a golf ball. And I'm looking at my family of 4, and I'm like, this is going to be an issue. So I posted a picture of.
Did you forget to add that we have 4 human beings?
No, I actually pay for 3 because
Taylor's
kids can split, right? So I paid for 3. So I'm like, in what world will this feed a family of 4 or even 3? And a guy wrote back, he goes, in Larry King voice, how did you lose all the weight? Yeah, portion control, I guess. But
how did you gain all the weight?
I made it last night. I've already canceled this service. This is not going to be the one for us.
Nope.
It's just not. I got to figure it out. It's every night the anxiety of, what do you want? I don't care. What do you want? I don't care. So let's eat something healthy. Okay, well, what about chicken? No, I don't really want chicken again. So what do you want? Well, I want salmon. Well, I don't eat salmon. So what else? Well, the kids won't eat fish anyway. So what about, and it's just, you can only make so much Benihana style stir fry on the griddle before you get sick of making Benihana style stir fry on the griddle. And so we're at a loss.
It's especially tough when you're trying to eat healthy as well.
Yeah, it's very tough. I called my buddy yesterday.
If you can throw in, we're gonna make mac and cheese today.
Dude, yes,
it makes things a lot easier.
So Hannah
but then when you're trying to eat healthy, it really, really becomes a tough decision every night.
So, dude, she's looking at one that's nearby us, and it's a meal prep type deal. And she's like, I'm like, all right, what's that one? Read it off to me. She's like, all right, well, we could get pot pies with cheddar biscuits. I'm like, yes, sounds amazing. Who wouldn't sign up for that? Okay. Oh, this one is a smothered pork chop with gravy, mashed potato. I'm like, babe, sign me up. I'm all in, but we can't eat this way. Like, we don't want to eat this way. But you and me, it's not just on her. I can't just eat a chicken breast and broccoli every night. It gets old. It gets tired. So, man, and then with the kids and what they want, it's so overwhelming that every night I just get panicked. I'm fully panicked at about 4:15. I'm like, what am I going to make? And how am I going to make it? And for whom is going to eat it? It's killing me. So I'm now looking at other services.
I know there are some people out there, hey, just eat the same chicken breast and broccoli
if I lived
every
alone,
single night.
If I lived
you could
alone,
do that.
No
you could
problem.
do that?
Zero. None.
You don't
no
need any
problem.
variety.
I'm the same way.
No problem. It's the fact that there are 3 other mouths in there that
I could do like some sort of a grilled chicken breast, rice, and a veggie every
Sold.
single day.
And then Hannah will be like, oh, I can do that too. And I'm like, all right, so it's day 3 of that. She's like, oh my God. And then I also am like, oh, let's just get a pizza. Like it's a bad influence. So we're at a loss. But yeah, they sent us, man. I meal prepped 1 spoonful of mashed potatoes that I divvied out between the 4 of us.
Like 2 new potatoes worth of mashed potatoes.
Hannah was in there rubbing finger around the bowl, rubbing it on her gums and stuff. I'm like, hey, like it's terrible. This is terrible. I'm at a loss.
Well, you look great.
No,
So.
thank you. I feel fantastic. I look like Big Ed, apparently. No neck Ed. So. That's hence the meal planning and preparatory services. But
got a giveaway coming up in a couple of minutes here. Guess what it is?
Sam Hunt.
No, Dierks Bentley.
Oh, Dierks Bentley.
Yeah,
That's
we got
the other liner.
We got some
liner.
country music tickets to give away here in a couple of
And
minutes.
why shouldn't we? Why shouldn't
You know
we?
what? Sports fans and country music fans do cross paths.
They do? You know what else
There's a
does?
crossover.
Sports tickets to give away also would be an idea.
Well, we're going to give away some Dierks Bentley tickets for
Cool.
the
I
North
bet he
Island Credit
likes
Union
sports.
Amphitheater on August 18th in just a couple of minutes.
All right.
So stand by for your chance to win momentarily.
Are John and Tammy at Quezon giving away Padres spring training tickets? Because then that would make some sort of sense to me.
I mean, you're trying to a little synergy
Cross
inside
promotion
the building.
Not really. I mean, at the end of the day, we're all kind of competing, so it's fine. Anyway, Dierks Bentley coming up.
Coming up in just a second. I want to talk a little bit more about the pitch clock. We heard Blake Snell's comments on it. You've heard there's a number of other people. Lance Lynn is one of the many who have said this weekend they like the pitch clock. Bob Melvin kind of saying it, but they do feel like there needs to be a late game exception or adjustment. It's the one thing you're hearing a lot from Major League Baseball players after about a week and a half now of pitch clock games. A lot of guys have already gotten used to it. There's only basically like 1.4 violations per game. Really pretty low number when you think about the number of pitches in a game, probably 250 to 300 pitches between the 2 teams in every single game, and have only 1 violation per like 300 pitches is a very low rate. So pitchers have, for the most part, they're adjusted. They're getting it done. But there's a lot of baseball players who do say, we don't want a game to be decided on one of those calls, on a big, like you saw with the Red Sox and the Braves that first weekend where, hey, the bases are loaded, the count is full, and you don't want it to be decided because a batter wasn't looking up at the pitcher with 8 seconds, or the pitcher took an extra 1 second to throw a pitch.
It's a good point, because here's the thing, and I Blake Snell referenced it, and he didn't like it. I don't know why he didn't like it. He pitched great, and I think it would dramatically help him, but I understand it's about being comfortable out there when you are, in fact, an elite athlete, and that is a Cy Young winner. Slow start notwithstanding, Blake Snell is an elite pitcher in this league, Ben. He has some of the best stuff in baseball. I want Blake Snell as comfortable as he can possibly be. For the pitchers to go up there and go, all right, I got 20 seconds. I can get that done. This engagement rule, though, sucks. It just sucks. And again, that is umpire discretion. Right?
No discretion whatsoever
Is
for
it
the umpires.
So they have they have 8 seconds to look up.
When the clock says 8 seconds, so if there's a runner on base, they have
need
12
to be
seconds.
staring
If there's
at the
no runner on
pitcher.
base, there's 7 seconds. They have to be in the box and attentive to the pitcher with 8 seconds to go.
Or who notifies them?
The umpire will say that's a strike on you because you're not ready.
Okay, question. So walk me through this because you say there's no discretion.
Yeah. I mean, the umpire has to make the call.
Right.
But
Hold
they're
on.
not.
So you're in the box. I'm the umpire. I'm behind you. I now know how attentive you are. That feels like discretion.
I guess there could be
here.
some gray area, but you have to be looking at the pitcher.
But I'm here. I'm getting ready. I kind of look down, make sure my feet are where I need to be. That's discretion to me. That's the umpire saying, no, you're not locked in enough. No, dude, this is how I hit. I look at my feet. I look at the second baseman to avert my eyes from the release, whatever it may be. It feels like that one to me is weird. We've got 20 seconds. I got 20 seconds to throw this ball. You've got to stay in the box for.
Well, if the pitcher's ready, the batter has to be ready as well. And we saw Justin Verlander try to use that to his advantage.
Was it Scherzer?
Oh, no, it was Scherzer. You're right.
Yeah,
Max Scherzer used that to his advantage.
Hold. 1 second left, deliver.
Yeah, or he basically unnerved the batter enough where the batter used his one timeout.
Got his timeout.
And then he got back in the box, and then Scherzer threw it instantly.
Yeah.
Like right away. Like
smart.
Manipulating the clock, and we may see more pitchers do that and I don't blame them. I mean, the pitchers are the ones who are shouldering more of the burden here, so why not? If they can make it work for them and use it to their advantage by manipulating a little bit of the clock and forcing the batters to be uncomfortable, why wouldn't you do that?
Counterpoint. Are the pitchers shouldering the majority of the burden? It feels like for them it's very black and white. 20 seconds. That feels extremely black and white. For the hitter now, it's 12 seconds or 8 seconds. You have 12 seconds to get ready. You better be ready with 8 seconds. I feel like the more of the burden I feel like it's always on the hitter because
I don't know. I mean, the hitter's one job is to be ready to hit. That's always been their job. That's still your job. When the pitcher is pitching the ball, you have to be ready to hit
what's the
it.
pitcher's one job?
The pitcher
ready to pitch.
Yes, but oftentimes the pitcher likes to go at their own pace.
Well, so does the hitter.
Step off.
So the hitter likes to step out, collect himself, and go.
Sometimes.
And say, all right, he just went fastball away. Where's he going now? Hang on. I know it's Max Scherzer. He throws a slider. He's going to jam me in, or is he not? Like, it's also a guy throwing 97 with wicked movement. And you're telling me I just got to stand there with my bat and go, I'm not moving. I'm ready. Like it feels like there's an equal burden. There does.
And then one point Bob Melvin made.
I was going to say, just on Scherzer, did you see the tweet that Robert Hassel III sent and then deleted?
No,
on Bobby Barrels.
He called out Max Scherzer.
That's ballsy.
Got it here. John Boy talking baseball. They tweeted out with the video of Scherzer talking and said, Max Scherzer wants umpires to be a little more lenient when it comes to the pitch clock. And Bobby Barrels quote tweeted it. Again, this has now been deleted. Quote tweeted and said, how about throw the ball before it hits 0 like the rule says and you should be good.
Ooh.
Dead man.
I don't know that I would poke.
You're not wrong, but yeah, maybe not toward Max
You think
Scherzer.
that guy's going to forget that? Probably not.
Then again, he's never going to have to. Well, he's going to have to face him probably. Yeah, at some point.
Yeah, absolutely,
for sure.
In the division.
Yeah, that's true.
My buddy Aaron tweets this or DMs me. He says, "Quick pitch is still against the rules, but it's not."
Umpires, they did say they're going to have to enforce
by what? How are they going to do it?
Quick pitch was always in the rules
with their what?
Discretion.
Yes,
but that's not a new rule. That's an old rule. But you can't throw a pitch when a batter's not ready. Essentially.
But if the batter's, I was always taught if the guy's got both feet in the box, throw.
Even if he's not looking.
Yeah.
But I think the umpires are saying if it's not to 8 seconds yet, and the batter's in the box, but he hasn't looked yet, you can't just throw the pitch instantly. I mean, well, take that to its logical extreme. So Juan Soto walks up into the plate, puts his left foot in the box, and then the second he puts the right foot in the box, the pitch is already on its way. It's coming at 98 miles an hour. You haven't even cocked your bat back. You have to give the batter a moment to set themselves once they get in the box.
But before, you know what the batter could do? Step out.
Well, I mean, if they're not even looking and it's already been delivered, can you step out?
You do the time. You hold the right hand up for a right-handed hitter.
Right.
Say, give me time. I got to dig my spot here. Hang on. Let me get comfortable in the box. This guy's throwing 99 miles an hour. I want to be ready. I want to be comfortable. This is the potential for disaster. It just does. The games are quicker, yes, but the potential for games, again, Joe Sheehan made the point last week. Wait till this starts affecting betting and things like that, where, yeah, man, there is disaster potential in this.
And Bob Melvin made the point, and I think some other people have as well, that especially late in the game in loud stadiums, Petco Park will be one of them, that stadiums are loud enough that you can no longer hear like PitchCom sometimes, and fans will start manipulating the game, especially late in games against opposing teams. And you can call it home field advantage if you want, but I don't know if it's a great idea.
Like the student section doing the shot clock.
Yeah, exactly. Counting it down wrong, screaming as loud as you can when the pitcher and the catcher are trying to do the pitch com and they've only got 15 seconds and they're like, I can't hear you. It's too loud in here. What, is that just part of the game now that fans can drown out the pitch clock? And do you want pitchers to have to throw a pitch so the catcher has no idea what's coming because the clock was about to expire and they could never get on the same, wavelength as to what pitch was coming? So Bob Melvin said that may be something that needs to be addressed, especially late in games, that you can't let fans necessarily impact the outcome of the games based on how loud they are and drowning out the sound of the pitch comp.
As I said, potential for disaster. I cannot.
Potential for chaos.
Chaos.
I don't know.
Yeah, not disaster.
I don't know if disaster is going to happen if, there's a call or two that is questionable on the pitch clock over the course of a 162 game season.
You say that, man. You say that until, you're a game out or something ridiculous or some umpire's discretion because he didn't think you were actually looking at Julio Arias when you were in the box and the Dodgers win the game on some BS call. That's more than chaos.
Every season, there's a bunch of BS calls in every year that are going to affect games.
That said, those won't stop.
These will be different.
No. You're adding more potential for even worse jobs by the umpires. It's just not the guys I want to put my betting money, my viewing eyes on those guys.
What do you think? 833-288-0973. I know we've been talking about it a lot, but it continues to evolve as spring training continues.
Do you think that they will make some adjustments before the regular season starts?
I think they might. Now, baseball says this is going perfectly, essentially, for baseball. Games are shorter. Offense is up. People seem to be enjoying it more. This is exactly what they wanted. And their first inclination is no. Why would we
changing it?
This is exactly what we were hoping for.
Maybe you could look at it like Joe Sheehan said in June. Look at it at the break or something in July. And if it sucks and whatever, it needs tweaking, tweak it then.
Fire up our Tier 1 tour of baseball spring training camps. Next up, the Kansas City Royals in the spotlight when we come back with Bennett Woods on San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan. I did promise some Dierks Bentley tickets, though, so if you want to call in and win them, now's the time. Third caller, quick, 833-288-0973. Pair of tickets to Dierks Bentley at North Island Credit Union Amphitheater on August 18th. Tickets go on sale March 24th at Ticketmaster.com. Now back after traffic on 97.3 The Fan. Fire it up. Always good. By the way,
Fire it up
baseball,
again, Paulie.
baseball is a lot of things, but it isn't boring. Join Rob Bradford on his podcast, Baseball Isn't Boring. Every day, Rob takes you through the league and spotlights what makes the game fun. He talks with players, managers, GMs, and reporters, all who shine a light on America's pastime. Follow Baseball Isn't Boring in the free Odyssey app or wherever you get your podcasts. Someone actually asked me to try to roll my R's at the Science Expo.
That actually sounds so much more like Woods trying to
Does it? Do it again.
impersonate Ben than that's actually Ben.
Do it again. We just keep replaying that because, well, we're about to talk about the Royals.
Well,
so.
I mean, and they also are challenging the whole Baseball Isn't Boring premise of that podcast.
Oh, by the Royals.
Because the Royals are not the most interesting team. We're going team by team, Padres order of opponents. I think we're in like the middle of May right now when they'll face the Kansas City Royals. And I think the Royals are the team that a lot of people around America hope the Padres will be in about 6 or 7 years.
Couldn't agree more. There are people that are preying on this team's downfall. Is like, I can't.
All right, maybe
wait.
they'll win their World Series, but I want them in 2030 to be as dismal,
decimated,
and boring, and out of contention as the Kansas City Royals. And that's the only thing
What
that
a
will make
brilliant
people happy.
What a brilliant point by my co-host. I mean, you couldn't be more spot on with your take than that. If you see the national media just sitting there in their offices, feet on the desk, looking at the sky, going, how can they do this? How is this sustainable? How is this sustainable 8 years down
They'll
the road?
all get to say, I told you so.
8
when
years down the road.
the Padres are picked to finish last place and have no stars left, and Edward Olivares is their number 5 projected hitter.
Well, they'll have stars left. The stars will all be in their
Maybe
39.
But they'll have bought out, 80% of their
contracts.
contracts to get rid of them, and they'll have nothing left. Sal Perez will be their old guy that's still around like he is for the Royals in the center of their lineup. The rotation, not much better. Brady Singer is kind of at the top, but I mean, Jordan Lyles is projected in their starting rotation. Zach Greinke's back.
He is
but
back.
It's not like prime Zach Greinke.
No, it's not. They have not gotten to at least 500 since the year after they won the World Series. They went 81-81, and they have not been back to 500 since. 18 straight losing seasons between 95 and 2012, but they won 65 games last season after 74 wins the year prior to that. So they're projected to be one of the worst 6 or 7 teams in baseball as things currently stand. So I don't know, what's the thing that we like to do with these kind of lower tier teams is, okay, I'm in Kansas City. We just won a Super Bowl, by the way, so we're feeling pretty good. But it's Royals season. As we wait for Patrick Mahomes to get, back up to speed, let's go catch some games. Why am I buying a ticket to go see the Kansas City Royals? There are a couple of names, as every team has a couple of names. Bobby Witt Jr. is probably the guy, Ben. Also, Benny Pasquantino is another guy that is really, really interesting. Slugging first baseman. I like this dude a lot. The core that they are kind of working slowly to build, it's not that bad. It's not that bad. Bobby Witt Jr. is a lot of fun to watch. Vinny Pasquantino is a blast to watch. They've got former Padre Edward Olivares been slated to be in their starting lineup this year.
Very
prominently. Yes, he'll be looks like the left fielder. But yeah, man, I mean, Kyle Isbell, real or fake? Michael Massey, real or fake? Nate Eaton,
Drew Waters.
So the back end of their bullpen. So they made some moves, and I thought the moves were a little bit odd. They went out and they signed Aroldis Chapman, who fell down some stairs and has split his lip open already. His Royals tenure off to a rocky start. They do have a guy named Scott Barlow that's a really, really good reliever for them. They have Amir Garrett as well. So they've got these big, tall lefties that can sling it. But, again, health dependent for the back end of their bullpen. And again, if any of those guys pitch well the first half, they're out. They're gone. Traded to a contender almost immediately for prospects. So just, I don't know, man. Like, Going to a Royals game. The stadium was great. I did it last year. I highly recommend
The
it.
fountains. Yeah, you had a good time when you went out
If
there.
you're in the area, like you can do a lot worse things in Kansas City than go to a Royals game. I had a blast. And I had that barbecue Reese's peanut butter sandwich, which is reason enough to go to the
But as you
ballpark.
made the point, the second, late July rolls around and training camp opens, the Royals will be forgotten and that city will be focused on their Super Bowl champion, Kansas City Chiefs.
Correct. Yeah.
So,
which
unless something shocking happens, but you'd expect the Royals to be well out of it.
Yeah.
By the time you get to the All-Star break
Yeah,
this year.
I think they've got them pegged around 70 wins. Under
Seems
on
a
that
little
one.
generous for the Royals as well.
That's your tier 1 takeover or tier 1 tour.
All right, Sammy Spring Training is going to check in after the entire weekend that was in Peoria, Arizona. What Bob Melvin had to say. He talked to Blake Snell as well. We'll catch up with Sam Levitt when we return with Bennett Woods on San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan. but just, for the football fans out there, a little breaking news. Derek Carr signing with the New Orleans Saints.
Why will that upset me? You're perpetuating the myth that I
you
don't like
want me to talk
football.
about football.
No, I
at
don't
the
want
start
you
of
to
baseball
talk about
season.
the Lakers. That's way different. It's way different. Begging you not to talk about the Dodgers and Lakers and the Trojans. I like football.
All right, Derek
Don't
Carr
perpetuate this myth.
to the New Orleans Saints. As a free agent.
Congratulations, Saints fans.
They didn't trade for
I
him.
know you're very happy.
Let the Raiders release him, and now they just signed him. So
Smart
they got
business.
got their Derek Carr in the long run. This hour of Bennett Woods brought to you by 5 Hour Energy. Visit 5hourenergy.com. Remember college? 5 Hour Energy got you through. The energized feeling you relied on back then still works today. Rediscover 5 Hour Energy. It'll get you through again. Visit 5hourenergy.com. Sammy Spring Training is kind of our energy from Peoria. Every morning he's been joining us and is set to join us again after this check of traffic on 97.3 The Fan.
From the Premier Kia of Carlsbad Traffic Center, part of the Premier Auto Family, here's Kelly Tannick.
Traffic is sponsored by Gomez Trial Attorney. Seriously injured? Get a real trial attorney. Get Gomez. Well, guys, it has turned out to be a pretty busy ride this morning. Got crash on Old Highway 385, transition to the southbound 15. Also, a collision on the South 5 coastline right before Tamarack. Everything is now over to the right shoulder. On the northbound 5 coastline, just before Poinsettia, reports of some sort of debris in the 2 left lanes. Also, an accident on the Old Town Avenue off-ramp, northbound 5, northbound side of 805 at Home Avenue. There is a collision involving a couple vehicles there over to the right shoulder. Accident on westbound side of the 884 Mission Center Road. Motorcycle involved. They're clearing that at the slow lane. Also on the eastbound side of the 54, just before Rayo Drive, crash over the right shoulder. If you've been injured in a car, truck, or motorcycle accident, Gomez Trial Attorneys is ready to fight for you all the way to trial. Get a real trial lawyer. Get Gomez. Call 833-GET-GOMEZ. I'm Kelly Tannick with Bennett Woods, San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan.
And joining us now in the premier Chevrolet of Carlsbad Fan Hotline is our pal Sammy Spring Training. And if you're a business owner and you're listening to this program and you've always wondered, does radio advertising work? I think the proof is right here on the line with us. It's Sammy Spring Training, who now has a new moniker. We've been saying Sammy Spring Training, and now people out in Peoria are now referring to Sam.
3 weeks
It's
now?
been 3 weeks. Sammy Spring Training. He's hey, Sammy Spring Training, Sammy Spring Training. That's proof right there. Advertising on the radio.
It does.
It works, and it works well. Good morning, Sammy Spring Training.
Good morning, gentlemen. Greetings from Peoria. Another beautiful morning here in Arizona. Yeah, it's real. I would say in the last week, I have heard, I don't know if it's been a dozen, but at least 6 to 7 to 8 people say to me, hey, Sammy Spring Training. Yesterday it happened 3 times. It happened on one of the backfields, and it happened twice at Peoria Sports Complex at the stadium.
Now I've realized,
Yeah.
though, that as the regular season approaches, we're going to have to come up with a snappy new name because you're no longer going to be Sammy Spring Training in the regular season.
That's a good point. And Sammy regular season doesn't
sound great. Champagne Sammy Champagne.
Sammy goes, the
don't.
champagne
I think,
flows.
yeah, I mean, I think here's the problem with having any kind of moniker with champagne in it is if things
You're
don't
drunk.
go well. Yeah, well, that. But like if things don't go well, that's not going to look good for me. So
That's
for whatever
true.
credit I would get if they win, I would also get the blame if they lose.
Isn't
So I
that
don't
though
know.
the risk that you take for a killer nickname like Sammy Champagne? I mean, that is like
I like Champagne Sam.
Champagne Sam is pretty good. But again, what if he goes to get another job and they're like, why do they call you Champagne Sam? Is there something we need to be aware of? Are you broadcasting with a giant magnum next to you the whole time? No, dude, we'll come up with something snazzy.
Do you guys want to know something that you may not realize? And I can't believe I'm saying this on the radio. And it's going to sound
Woods has
totally
this
pompous.
effect on people.
I have this ability to pull it out.
Are you ready?
ears.
Are
Yes,
you ready
we're
for
ready.
this?
Yes.
I had in Amarillo, Texas, a very well-known nickname. Any guess?
No.
Big
Amarillo Sam.
blank Sam.
No. Well, the early one was Samarillo, but that's not what caught on.
Is brilliant.
No, but that's not what caught on. The one that caught on was Prince of the Panhandle.
Prince of
the Texas Panhandle.
How about this?
Prince of the Panhandle. In fact, I can't believe I'm saying this right now in admitting to this. Somebody made me a not a painting, but like I don't know, it's a photo type thing that is that says Prince of the Panhandle with a little heart where Amarillo is, and it hangs on my wall in my new apartment. I put it up like 2 months ago.
How about
why
this?
not?
How about
why
this?
not?
Sammy Diego.
I was gonna say Sam Diego.
Sam Diego.
I like it.
I
Sam
mean,
Diego. is
Samarillo is
snazzy.
really
Samarillo
hard
is-
to beat.
You could have given me the whole day, and I couldn't have come up with Samarillo. God, that is so genius. Prince
That's
of the
my new
Panhandle.
Well,
Prince of Petco. We could do that. We can do Sammy Diego. We'll work on it, Sammy. But it's good to talk to you.
I
Good
like
to hear
it.
your voice. And fill us in. What's the
So,
house?
yeah, the news about Juan Soto is actually still there. We expected him to leave
Yeah.
for the WBC, but he's still there. Bob Melvin was talking about it. What can you share with us, Sam?
Well, I think the guys are leaving today because Manny did show up this morning at the complex. So I think they're heading out today. I think Nelson Cruz already headed out and is on the way to Miami. Look, for Juan Soto, he was in the outfield working out today. I saw some agility type drills. I saw him throw in the outfield. They didn't see everything he did. When Bob Melvin spoke about it this morning, I mean, it sounds like he's still going to go, but it doesn't sound like he's still going to go for sure. And look, I think just based on the idea that he's not departing today with the rest of everybody else does make you wonder if there's a chance, I don't know if likelihood's the right word, but how much of a chance there is that he doesn't go. Now, with that said, I do believe the left calf issue is minor because he's been participating in simulated games in the outfield. He hit a home run yesterday to left field, with whatever he's dealing with. I mean, the only thing he really hasn't been doing is running, which is obviously significant. But he was out there today working out. They continue to say it was precautionary and it's minor. But the fact that he's not going today and he's going to stay in Peoria for a couple of days or however long it is of treatment does make you wonder if there's a chance or conversations going on about him potentially not playing. So that's where we are right now. And, I posted it on Twitter, on the fans' Twitter, I don't know, 10, 15 minutes ago. Bob Melvin didn't seem to have a concrete answer as far as whether he's going to play or not. It sounds like that's still the plan, but I'm intrigued to see what happens over the next couple of days because, you would imagine over the course of this week, there'll probably have to be a decision. I mean, the World Baseball Classic isn't that long. And also, I suppose there's a case to be made if you're the Padres, that if Juan's not truly 100% healthier, that calf is not feeling 100%, I would imagine there has to be some concern there. So it's going to be an interesting few days to see what happens with that situation. But what we know is that he's working out today. He's going to test out running today. And at least for the moment, he's not heading to Miami.
I've got an idea. Hide his keys. Don't let him go.
Most people take an Uber to the airport.
Hide his phone.
You know what? I'm gonna go out and make a prediction, which will probably be proven wrong in the next 4 days. I predict Juan Soto doesn't end up playing in the WBC, and here's why. I don't think the Padres will stop him. Not the Padres style to make, just all unilateral decisions for their star players. They trust those guys. They trust their judgment, and they don't want to stop them from doing something that's important to them, representing their country. But unlike, say, a Manny Machado or even a Nick Martinez, who already have their contract extensions in place, Juan Soto doesn't yet. And I think that will make a difference with him and Scott Boras when they're discussing the risks and the potential pitfalls. If, his first at-bat in the WBC, he lines one to left field and takes 3 steps out of the box and winces or grabs at the back of his leg and then is out, 3 or 4 months with something. it's just going to look really, really bad for everybody. Now, it could still happen.
In my warped brain, though, I think, cool.
It
Maybe
could
we can get him for a discount.
It could
now.
still happen in Peoria. It could happen in a spring training game. It could happen in the first week of the season. But if it happens when he's in a Padres uniform, nobody says anything about it. He's going out trying to give all he can for his team. If it happens for the WBC,
It's different.
It's different. Well, there's questions.
There was a report this morning, Sammy and Ben and everybody else, from Enrique Rojas. It says General Manager Nelson Cruz. Juan Soto will stay training with the Padres until Thursday, and on Friday, he will travel to Miami to join the Dominican Republic. He will train on Friday and, quote, should be fine.
Long time between now
for
and
the World
Friday.
Classic. All right.
Long time.
I hope Ben's right at the end of the day.
My prediction. We'll
hope
see.
you're right. Okay.
Sam Levitt is with us. Sam, is there any separation in the race? Let's call it for the 7th starter right now. Could be a guy to fill in for Joe Musgrove. Could be a swing guy because Julio Teheran has not given up a run. Jay Groom has not given up a run. Ryan Weathers looks like he's taking a step forward. Is anyone separating themselves from the pack?
I get the feeling that Jay Groom may be that guy that's separating himself. On the results, he's thrown 6 2/3 scoreless innings. His command at the start of the outing yesterday wasn't as good as it's been, but he settled in and figured out a way to put up 3 scoreless innings, which is impressive. And I will tell you, I heard Bob Melvin talk about it yesterday. I heard him talk about it today. I feel like he really likes Jay Groom, and I feel like they're evaluating Jay Groom pretty closely. And look, they know what kind of prospect he is and was, and a first rounder, and has dealt with injuries. So there's clearly a high level of talent there. But you know, there's definitely been a good impression on Bob Melvin and the front office. Look, Julio Teheran's been solid as well. But I look at it right now based on the results and kind of the tone of how Bob Melvin's talking about Jay Groom. To me, I think you have to take him very, very seriously as somebody who at the moment may be the leader if the Padres end up going with a 6-man rotation at the start of the year. If Joe Musgrove is not ready for opening day or whatever his first turn in the rotation would be. Look, also with Jay Groom, whether the Padres have Musgrove on that first turn through or not, and maybe they go with a 5-man until Joe comes back, however they want to do it. But hey, Jay Groom could also be a guy that's, a long man and a swing man out of the bullpen. I don't think that's out of the realm of possibility. So to me, Jay Groom at this point is the guy who has taken a real step forward. Teheran has been pretty good as well. But I do believe Groom has really opened up some eyes here in spring training, and he's going to continue to get opportunities to throw innings, and we'll see what happens. But I think that guy is Jay Groom right now based on what he's done and what we're hearing.
Talking to Sammy Spring Training live from Peoria, Arizona, here on Ben and Woods this morning. I'm confused as all get out, Sam. Every time I do watch a televised game, it seems that our starting second baseman, and I realize that Ha-Seong Kim is already gone and he's in playing with his Korean compatriots. Jake Cronenworth is the second baseman. Now, it was my understanding, and I think a lot of people's understanding, that Jake Cronenworth was going to get the majority of the reps at first base this season. Is there a particular reason why Croney keeps playing second and not first? My mind says, well, they're so comfortable with him at first, maybe he doesn't need reps, but I know that's not the case. So I don't really know what's going on.
Yeah, I think part of it, guys, is that they're trying to get Matt Carpenter's feet under him a little bit, and Carpenter's played first. And remember, Manny is going to the WBC. I think what you may end up seeing over the course of the next couple of weeks is Carpenter play a bit of third base and Jake go to first base. I do think you'll see Cronenworth at first base more, because I'll be honest, Woods, I had the same question yesterday when I was thinking about it and seeing Cronenworth play second base, and he's playing second base again today, like you said. I had the same question, but the sense I get in talking to some people is that it's also about Matt Carpenter just kind of getting going and getting comfortable playing. You'll probably see Carpenter play some third and then Cronenworth go to first base. But I'm with you. I think it would be good to see Jake start to get some reps over there. And let's be honest. I mean, he's had one start over there. There's plenty of Cactus League games left. I can tell you, he's working over.
Yeah,
he's working over there. I saw it early in spring training.
We did
he
too.
did a lot of work over there. So you're right. You haven't seen it a ton in the actual games, but I do think that's coming. And I think part of it had to do with just the way things were set up this first week plus and the Matt Carpenter side of it as well. I do think he will play some more first base.
And they wouldn't have signed Rougned Odor if they didn't want to, have some body out there at second base
just to cover the position
that they could
Right.
move guys around. Sammy, great
That's
job.
That's a great point.
Did
Yep.
get another suggestion here, which I kind of like from Jesus on a nickname. How about Sammy Spring Training becomes Sammy 162?
Oh, I love that too.
Once
Sammy
the
162.
season starts. That's like it's got kind of rolls off the tongue.
Yes.
You can't take a day
Well,
off if that's the case.
But here's the thing. Like last year, my goal was to do 162. I would have had 162 if not for getting a little sick for a 5-game span and having to miss.
Sammy
So that
157.
didn't happen. Yes, I was Sammy 157 plus postseason. I will tell you though. I'm not going to be 162 this year because I already have one weekend that I know I'm not going to do. So I think I'm going to be Sammy 159
Yeah.
this year.
Doesn't really work
right
then.
now.
No.
So, but that's a lot of games.
A lot of
and
games.
We could still do Sammy 162. I still
Sam,
think that would
I
work.
got no problem with vacations.
Yeah, no kidding. We know. First one's
Take
coming,
Take him when you can
couple
get him.
weeks from now.
Take him. Vacation number 1 is on the horizon. Take him when you can get him. Sam, thank you so much. Have another good week. We'll talk to you tomorrow, of course, from Peoria.
All right, guys. Thanks so much. Appreciate it.
7-11 on our Premier Chevrolet of Carlsbad fan hotline. Save money the right way with Premier Chevrolet of Carlsbad. Visit them today in the Carlsbad Auto Mall. Chevrolet find new roads. Paulie has some great John Miller audio for us in the Reindl Report coming up next.
Pettiness 101.
Don't go anywhere.
Out on the Leonard Skinner history lesson, we
sure did
learn that the great Gary Rossington left the this mortal coil yesterday at 71 years old. The last founding member of Leonard Skinner, one of my favorite bands of all time. Their first show ever, like their first big show,
like other than
playing in the honky tonks,
like community
playing the
bars,
yeah.
local, but like an actual promoted show.
So the Who comes to Jacksonville, Florida, and they're like, we need to find a local band to open for us. And somebody goes, well, what about these guys, Leonard Skinner? And they're like, yeah, we're in. And they go, their first band ever was at the Cow Palace, and they opened for Skinner, or opened for the Who, their very first band. That day, Keith Moon, the drummer for the Who, world famous, was dosed by somebody with some sort of narcotic and was out. Couldn't play drums.
Possibly himself.
You never do know. So the drummer for Skinner filled in and played with the Who their very first show. And that's where they became great friends with the Who. An unlikely friendship, I would say. The dapper Englishman from England and the hillbilly guys from the swamps of Florida, they became really great friends.
Now, you made a great observation off the air about original Leonard Skinner member. Is it Ronnie Van Zant?
Yeah, Ronnie Van Zant.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's the coolest last name ever. I feel like if your last name is Van Zant, people are terrified of you.
Yeah, I get it.
And like you put our names with Van Zant, we're the baddest mofos in town. Stevie Van Zant.
Yeah, he already exists. But he was on The Sopranos.
Yep. Ben Van Zant. Benjamin Ben. No, just Ben.
Ben Van Zant.
Yeah. And Paul Van Zant. Those guys will
They're
kick your ass,
enforcers.
and they'll take your girl from
Yeah.
you real quick. Van Zant. Oh, stay away from the Van Zant boys.
What name doesn't go well? Is there Fred
Van Zant? Even that's not bad.
Wilbur Van Zant?
Even that's pretty hard ass.
Van Zant really makes every name
Cooler.
a little bit tougher and cooler.
Why wouldn't you have called your band just Van Zant?
That is a good. That would
like
be
Van Halen, but Van
Zant.
Zant. Van in front of things is very cool. Very cool. So there you go. That was my little another history nugget about the great Leonard Skinner.
All right, let's get to today's Roundel report.
Let's do it.
I'm looking forward to this audio.
And get things started here with our today's edition of the Roundel report.
Now tuned into the greatest.
Welcome to the Reindl Report with Paul Reindl.
Hi, Paul.
All right.
2 stories from the world of sports that we haven't gotten to yet.
We'll start off in Major League Baseball.
And 1 story that you didn't know you needed.
Are you laughing, biatch?
It's the Reindl Report
Hey, Paul, how you doing? Okay, how are you?
on 97.3 The Fan.
Are you ready to bless the mood? I need some help, please.
That was good.
Can I get a yeah? Oh, yeah.
All right.
All right.
All right. It has totally replaced your all right.
All right.
The carving guys, all right, has replaced Paul Reindl's all right.
Who knew that all right could be said so many different and interesting ways?
Fine by me.
Even if the carving guy's last name was Van Zant, he'd still be the coolest
Carving guy Van Zant.
Zant. He would be the coolest, whatever his name is.
All right, we will get to the audio. I've been telling you guys about it, I think, during the breaks here for about an hour. I found this audio of Giants play-by-play broadcaster John Miller, one of just the absolute best.
I know it's Giants loving to love John
I know.
Miller, but I love John Miller. I will say it unabashedly. I have always been a massive.
I mean, he had his day where he was the main ESPN guy on the Sunday Night Baseball.
Him and Joe
He and
Morgan.
Joe Morgan.
Then went back to just kind of doing his Giants thing, but he's been around for decades now.
His voice is so soothing. It's a lot like Don's. Don, I get that same vibe.
They sound like
They
baseball.
sound like baseball to me. Yeah, they
So-
really do.
John Miller's been around the block for quite some time, and he knows how everything goes. He knows, especially during spring training. So over the weekend, the Giants and the Diamondbacks on Saturday, they played a split squad game, and John Miller was on the call, Giants at Diamondbacks, and he was very, very upset.
He was peeved
with the Diamondbacks, and in particular, the Diamondbacks PR department.
Oh boy.
PR departments will give visiting broadcasters a whole pamphlet with notes, statistics,
More stuff than you could ever imagine.
pronunciations.
Yeah.
And hey, during spring training, that stuff's important because when number 94 comes into the game in the 5th inning or something,
Who is he?
We talked
Who
to
is he? Where's
Jesse.
he from?
We talked to Jesse about this, and it's gotten better over the years. It used to be back in the day, you wouldn't even know who 97 was when they were coming in the game. But since then, PR departments have done a better job of making sure, hey, every name's there. You get a little biographical information. They're not leaving the broadcasters in the lurch for the most part.
So listen to about a minute of audio here where John Miller just goes off on the Diamondbacks, gets a little petty, calls them the Bush League D-backs. It's spicy.
Here's a curveball, and that's in for a strike. I have to guess, the D-backs decided, the heck with the big leagues. Let's just not be a big league team for the split squad. Here's the 1-1 pitch. And a fastball swung on and missed by Bryce Johnson. It's 1-2. They have sent no public relations people over here, no information about who the manager is or anything at all about it. So if they don't want to be a big league team, we'll just treat them like a sandlot team. So they give us no information about anything. So one of those guys in a red shirt managing and a right-hander, one of their right-handers on the mound. And there's a ball up and away. 3-2 the count. I mean, there are certain things that go along with being a big league team.
Oh.
Like try to act like a big league team.
Oh, my God.
3-2 the count to Bryce Johnson. Here's Saccone. And the pitch is bounced to second over to his right. Backhanding it, Castillo. And he throws out Johnson at first. See, I even had names. Did a little homework on what little we have, which is nothing whatsoever from the Bush League D-backs. We go to the
Ouch. Ouch.
Sounds very.
I can see this.
your old
I can
pal
see
Woods.
this both ways.
What?
Well, you've got 2 games. You've got a limited staff, and maybe
Can't you just double print?
you can't. You don't have enough people to put together notes for both games at the same time.
But they got nothing, though.
Yeah,
So-
every team has split squad games.
Yeah, that's not the first time they've ever done split squad. So here's what you do. We're understaffed, which is garbage anyway. Here's one big printout, and you're going to have to see who's 97.
Well, I mean, I can go onto the Diamondbacks website. And there's numbers attached to all the coaches and players,
Right.
So I could click on it. If he saw that, number 82 was managing the team, I could tell you that's Jeff Bannister, the bench coach.
Oh, Benny
who's,
Rooster.
who's managing the team right there. I mean, it's not impossible. I could go to
So
your.
you're saying John Miller is a giant diva?
Well, I mean, a little bit. He could have said, "Oh, is that number 90 who's gone into the game to pitch? That's Brandon Fat." That's his name.
I don't want to hear any
Ooh.
jokes about me.
Well, it's spelled P-F-A-A-D-T.
Fat.
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 How'd you gain all the weight? No, it's just fat.
Fat.
Or number 91, the right-hander is Mitchell Stumpo, is into the game. I mean, you can at least put a name with the numbers.
He's gotten so he's been doing this for 50 years. He's gotten so used. You're saying John Miller's gotten so used to being
A little dependent maybe on the
spoon-fed.
yeah. I mean, sometime
You don't
at some point
always
when-
have to play devil's
at
advocate.
some
just
time when he was
FYI.
coming up, he didn't get notes for every single game he's ever broadcast. Number 96, PJ Higgins.
They got
Because of
nothing. though.
PJ.
They got nothing.
They didn't
There
get
was
anything. Other than, you can go on the website.
Go to the website.
That's all I'm saying.
Move on. In the NBA last night, Giannis Antetokounmpo had a triple-double that he secured in the
Did
very,
he?
very final
Did he?
seconds. I kind of liked this. I thought it was fun. So he had 23 points. He had 13 assists. He had 9 rebounds. And with about 6, 7, 8 seconds left, now the game was close. The final score was 117-111. Milwaukee beat the Wizards. 6 points, you'll see it, right? 6, 7, 8 points even. The team will keep fouling and keep trying to chip away at that score. Then finally, they go for one last push, try to get a steal or something, and then they realize, all right, the ball got past half court. This game is now over, and everybody just kind of lets up. So Giannis has the ball at about the 3-point line. There's one defender. He's the only one on the court at that end of the court. and the defenders, the game's over. He gave up. So Giannis just kind of walks towards the hoop. Time is ticking. It's like 3, 2, and he needed one more rebound for a triple-double. So he just kind of threw the ball off the backboard to himself and caught it as time ran out.
A little cheap, a little chintzy on the rebound there.
He said after the game, I was thinking about scoring the ball, but I feel like in those situations, it's best to just kind of keep the ball. But yeah, I just tried to play the game smart and kind of stole one. Like he could have easily just laid it up for another 2 points.
Not a
9-point
damn
win or
thing
whatever.
wrong.
Now,
with it.
if he had like 4 more seconds, he could have done it like 7 times and finished with 16 rebounds in the game. Now, that hurts his shooting percentage, though, because obviously he gets a missed shot for each one of those. So
Yeah, I'll
there's
take the
a
triple
trade.
double, though.
There's a trade-off. But for one missed shot for a triple-double,
done.
It's probably
Pretty
an
funny.
easy win for Giannis there.
Also, it doesn't hurt that he's the most likable human in the NBA, right? It does not hurt.
Absolutely one of my
If this
favorites.
was
Can't do any wrong.
If this was Russell Westbrook, Ben would have opened the show with it today. Loathing Russell Westbrook and his streak
Fair
of
enough.
triple double.
Fair enough.
But it's Giannis, so you go.
You laugh it
That's
off.
Giannis.
By the way, good win for the Lakers yesterday.
No one
over
cares.
the
Can you
Warriors.
quickly? Can you see your stats? Can you see?
Usually the scoreboard
it
has
has-
points, rebounds, and assists up there
Yeah,
on most
somewhere.
modern
Because it's
NBA
like
Maybe on like the
scoreboards.
corner
Yeah.
of the
this joke's been
jumbo
made
screen.
before, but it's like Ice Cube messed around and got a triple double. He's keeping his stats in a pickup game,
Right.
which never fails to make me laugh. And he's like, "All right, I got 6, 4 here. Shoot, shot made. All right,
There's
that's
no
5
score-
assists for
no
me.
scoreboard in a
scorekeepers
pickup game, yeah.
I did that in like middle school, even high school. If we were like JV or freshman team that didn't keep stats, I'm
Yeah.
like, I'm keeping my stats this year.
Messed around and got a triple double again.
Oh, it's
It
important.
kills me every time.
One of my summer jobs actually is I kept stats for like one of those summer tournaments for a week, and we had like an electronic stat box. Every game, either a player or a coach would come by and say, "Oh, I think you got one of those wrong." Like,
Of course.
I had one more rebound there. Like, dude, I'm doing this entire thing by myself. Every single stat. You're lucky that I'm as close as I am on that.
They didn't give you any details for that, much like John Miller. You just have
Just
to
had
figure it out on
numbers.
your
Yeah,
own.
I did. I got no nats.
Good for you.
No notes.
All right, and finally, Netflix had a little event over the weekend. First time ever, Netflix did a live comedy special. It was at 7 p.m. here on the West Coast, and I gotta say, I tuned in and I really enjoyed it. It felt like an event. It wasn't a recorded special that was being released on Saturday. It was live.
I did not know that.
Yeah, Chris
'Cause I
Rock.
watched it on Sunday.
It was Chris Rock who has made a lot of money with Netflix and all his stand-up specials over the last few years. But they did a pre-show at 6:30, from 6:30 to 7 at the Comedy Store, I think, in Los Angeles. And they had a bunch of celebrities there. And then the show was being recorded in Baltimore, Maryland. So at 10 o'clock on the East Coast, and they're like, all right, we're getting ready. Like Chris is backstage, and they had all these celebrities, a bunch of Saturday Night Live people, Dana Carvey, Leslie Jones, Arsenio Hall was part of the pre-show. It was actually really
So
entertaining.
They did a live Chris Rock concert.
Live Chris Rock concert. And you can there's one point he even screwed up like a joke, and he goes, I effed that one up. And like, if that was a recorded special,
He just edited it.
they would have completely edited out. I really enjoyed it. And I kind of hope that Netflix continues this. As for the special itself,
What's the difference for you? Like, because
just-
it's comedy, I don't care. I just want to see it. I want to see it at its.
it felt like I didn't even know it was happening that night
Yeah.
until about 5 o'clock. I saw something that said, that's tonight. And we were just hanging out at home, and I
Watching
go, boom, 7 o'clock. We have something to watch tonight.
Well, yeah. I mean, but let me ask you this, because I put
Like,
it
had
on,
it been released at midnight on Friday night or something, like most of their programs
Right.
are, I would have gotten to it when I got to
Yeah,
it.
yeah, for sure. Let me ask you this question, Paulie. I watched maybe 20 minutes, and I'm gonna catch 20 minutes. I'm gonna come back to it for sure. Has he kept his fastball? In your opinion,
I think so.
has he?
I think so.
He's
I thought it
got
was,
off to a bit of a rough start in the little that I watched of it.
We played some of the comments, the jokes about Will Smith
Yeah, but I missed that
last
part.
So-
night on Channel 10.
yeah, everybody
you
was
want.
tuning
Yeah.
in for that.
Do we have
It's
some-
almost a year later now, right? From the slap at the Oscars. He waited until probably the last 10,
course.
15 minutes.
Play Freebird as your last song.
Bro, He went in
All right.
on
Can
Will
we hear
and
some?
Jada.
Yeah.
I got a little bit here. But I would say that if you took out those 10 minutes on Will Smith, it was still a good special.
Okay.
First of all, I know you can't tell on camera. Will Smith is significantly bigger than me. We are not the same size.
We can't.
Okay? We are not. This guy, Will Smith does movies with his shirt off. You've never seen me do a movie with my shirt off. If I'm in a movie getting open heart surgery, I got on a sweater. Will Smith played Muhammad Ali in a movie. You think I auditioned for that part? He played Muhammad Ali. I played Pookie in New Jack City. I played a piece of corn in Pootie Tang.
All right, not bad.
It was good.
I
would,
played a piece of corn in Pootie Tang.
I would suggest going back and watching it.
All right.
Those last 10 minutes, man.
I saw a little bit on Twitter and went, ooh, spicy.
Yeah.
Spicy.
Now he's not hosting this year. Jimmy Kimmel is going to be hosting on next Sunday.
Yeah,
will, he
ABC 10.
will he do a throwback to it?
don't
Over
know.
under on
We'll
that
see.
is decided.
They had a funny commercial. They had a Top Gun Maverick send up with John Hamm and Jimmy Kimmel and Billy Crystal.
Solid.
You know, it's pretty funny if you
But
want
as
to
for
check
the
it out.
format in general, I'm fine with it.
Solid.
It's
Okay,
fun.
good. All right. What's it called?
Selective.
Chris Rock. I thought it was like Unleashed or something.
Selective Outrage.
Selective Outrage is the name of it. All right. And it's on Netflix. You
Good
can
title too. I
Yeah,
like
so
it.
the pre and they did a post show with Dana Carvey, David Spade, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar was there. The pre and the post, you had to catch those live. The actual special will be uploaded to Netflix like any other one.
Will you watch it, Benjamin?
I've already watched it, quite a bit of it actually.
Did you?
Yeah, from last
From
night.
the-
It's,
The
I caught at
part-
least 7 or 8 minutes.
He went on.
It's like 50 minutes.
I know I haven't watched it all, but
He went
I've
off on the
watched some.
Kardashians for about 10 minutes. That was probably my favorite part after the Will
All right.
Smith stuff.
I'm on board. I'll check it out.
Good job on the
Thank
Rondo
you,
report
Paulie.
today. If you had to make a putt to win $3.6 million, I know exactly the length putt you would want to have to make.
Yeah.
Happened yesterday. Some good golf, actually. We can talk about that. More Padres, maybe some phone calls. 833-288-0973. We've talked pitch clock. We've talked Blake Snell. Got into some Mike Clevenger talk as well. If you want to join us, give us a call. We'll come back after a check of traffic with more Bennett Woods on San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan. All you golfers out there, the Ben Woods Open taking place Thursday, April 6th out at Rancho Bernardo Inn. We were there a couple of weeks ago. It is in prime condition. I don't think I've ever seen RBN playing as nicely as it did, and I assume it'll be just like that for our tournament as well. The greens were fast and smooth and pristine. The course was lush and green, looking great, and you can start signing up for the tournament on Wednesday, March 2nd. That's when slots go on sale, so circle that on your calendar and be ready. Thanks so much to our sponsors, Travis Matthew, Daily Engineering, Sombreros, Mexican Food, all part of the people helping make it happen. Our second Ben Woods Open is less than a month away. Actually, exactly 1 month away. Today is March 6th. 1 month from today, April 6th.
Yeah.
Not bad.
Also the first day of the Masters.
It is. And one player you'll see at the Masters will be Kurt Kitayama. He definitely punched his ticket with a win yesterday, beating a very loaded leaderboard at the Arnold Palmer Invitational at Bay Hill in Orlando. You had Rory McIlroy in the lead for a while. Jordan Spieth made an early run up at the lead. Scotty Scheffler, Patrick Cantlay, all on the leaderboard. And then there's this kid from Chico, went to UNLV, was not even his top player on the team, was like the number 3, 4 guy on the college golf team, but grinded on the mini tours in Asia and Europe, and finally made his way to the PGA Tour. Had never won, but was in this loaded field. Did not necessarily, play perfectly on the weekend. In fact, he hit balls out of bounds on both Saturday and Sunday. Made a triple bogey yesterday. Normally that takes just about anybody out of contention, especially a guy who hasn't been there before. But he had one thing that everyone else didn't. He was making putts from all over the place. I think he made like 165 feet worth of putts or something yesterday.
It's insane. Including
a birdie at 17 to break a log jam at 8 under. So he had a 1-stroke lead going into the 18th hole. I can't even imagine the nerves.
Just sick.
Life-changing money.
With all of the studs around you, too.
Everything. And all you need to do is par, but it's a really tough hole. There's water and sand on the right, big, deep rough. And his tee shot, unsurprisingly, pulls left into the deep, deep rough. And they're saying on the broadcast, what's his chance to make par from there? They're going, maybe 50-50. Coin flip. I mean, most guys haven't even gotten it on the green from there, but he could get up and down. He can still make a par. It's a really good shot onto the safe side of the green, but he's a long way away, almost 50 feet away, and the greens have been glass. No one's making anything. Even the top players in the world are taking like 12 feet putts, and they're knocking them 6 feet by. They are so fast and so tough. But he goes up and steps up to this 47-foot putt. I can't even imagine what that must feel like, knowing I just need to get this down to 2. And I win my first ever PGA Tour event.
Guaranteed 3 putt.
47
on glass, 47.
You
guaranteed.
leave it 10
Maybe
feet
4.
short. You knock it
Maybe
15
4.
feet by. So many things can go wrong. But he hits the putt, and it's looking pretty good. I mean, it's breaking up way. He goes way to the left. It's breaking down to the right. I'm going, this is tracking close. The thing rolls up, and it's going straight in the cup. It starts slowing down. It literally stops on the edge of the hole. It's like it's hanging halfway over the edge. You can see on the close-up on the camera, part of the ball is suspended over the cup. And it doesn't fall in, but he doesn't need it to. He doesn't need that to win. He just needs to 2-putt.
He needs to make that one.
So he ends up with literally like a 1 millimeter putt for the win, $3.6 million. He goes up. He marks it because you want to let the other
drink the moment.
You want to let the other player finish without the distraction of all the applause and the tournament being over. So he literally puts a coin almost like
in the hole
to mark his ball.
It's huge.
And then I think Victor Hovland finished out. They put the ball back and just touched it, and it dropped into the cup, and he won for the first time, the shortest ever putt to win a PGA Tour event,
and he
like
gets
1 millimeter.
And now he gets to play the Masters.
He gets to play all the majors. It's a 3-year exemption because it's one of the elevated events.
Incredible, dude.
He's safe this year and the next 3 years on tour. Huge win for this kid that just a few years ago was a good but not like unbelievable college golfer. It reminded me of our friend Steve Sugimoto, who's doing that same thing, trying to go to Japan, Asian tour, grind his way up. But it's a sign that it can be done. put in the work, you do it. There is a pathway to greatness on the golf course. And Kurt Kitayama yesterday showed just how to do it. Congratulations to him on a big win.
Greatness on the golf course has been eluding me for many, many months. So hopefully we can get that back at some point. That'll be a lot of fun. All right, let's go to break.
All right, final segment of the day.
Topic wheel for sure.
Topic wheel, Padres, always a fair topic. Calls 833-288-0973. We got all of it on the table for our final segment on a Monday with Ben and Woods on San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan.
What's wrong with Twitter now?
I have no idea.
Stupid.
I still see tweets, but I can't click on any links, and I don't see any pictures or videos.
This monster.
Except for ads. I still see those.
I believe tweets with videos, pictures, or links are having a lot of issues right now. TweetDeck is down.
Stupid Bobby Cressy, Padres organist, who I love like a brother, tweets this just now, knowing full well pictures are unavailable on Twitter. He tweets at these Stephen Woods. I saw what you were doing with those ladies, and here's the pic. Sorry, pal, I can't stay silent. Just a pic.
Just a blank screen.
Oh, I hate you.
Twitter
I hate
support
you. I hate
says
you.
some parts of Twitter may not be working as expected right now. We made an internal change that has some unintended consequences.
Oh, do you think
We're
so?
working on this now, and we'll share an update when it's fixed.
I hate you.
Well,
Bob Cressy.
You know what? Our YouTube stream is still up. You can
Look
always
what you
catch
did
us
to
that
these
way.
ladies. Here, I can't stay silent.
What'd you do?
Maybe it's a picture of you just entertaining them on the radio for 4 hours every morning.
Oh, I hate you. I hate you. I hate you.
That's what you did to them.
Oh man, it is a little weird. Yeah, I can't see it on my computer. I can see it on my phone, but not on our computer. So if we haven't gotten back to you, there's a problem with Twitter. Sorry.
This hour on 97.3 The Fan is brought to you by 5 Hour Energy. Visit 5hourenergy.com. Replace your afternoon coffee with a 5 Hour Energy. It's perfect when you're feeling coffeeed out and your stomach will thank you. Discover 5 Hour Energy. Learn more at 5hourenergy.com. Who was the latest Padre to get the stomach issues? Matt Carpenter.
Now it freaked me out for a second because he was out yesterday and it said an abdominal issue, and I thought for a second, I'm like, oh, did he like pull his abs? And I went, oh no, he's got the poops. He's got the poops.
Started with Jake. And has
Jake
moved
had
around.
like norovirus or something. Really glad we bumped fists with him 2 days after his norovirus scare. But he's fine and is hitting very well and playing very well, and as are most of the gang out there. But yeah, Matt Carpenter had a little bit of the trots, as they call it. Not a fun sport. No sport is fun to play with the trots.
No.
Baseball's not great.
Can we try something here? So I know the topic wheel is oiled up and ready to go.
Yeah, greased it up.
Can we do a caller, like come in and join us for a topic wheel? If
Absolutely.
I throw out the phone numbers.
Yeah, hell yeah. Somebody suggested that the other day.
You don't get to choose the topic. The topic wheel chooses the topic.
You. Yeah.
But you can join us for our answers on the topic wheel. So if you want to take part, call now 833-288-0973, and we'll get to a little topic wheel after a check of traffic here on 97.3 The Fan.
From the Premier Kia of Carlsbad Traffic Center, part of the Premier Auto Family, here's Kelly Tannick.
Traffic is sponsored by the San Diego County Sheriff's Department. Just a couple things wrapping up a very busy ride this morning. Crash still in the clearing stage on northbound side of the 805 near Home Avenue. Everything's over the right shoulder. Also in the North County southbound side of the 15, just past Rainbow Valley, there is a collision that's been cleared from lanes. The San Diego County Sheriff's Department is working hard to keep San Diego safe and is now hiring. The Sheriff's Department offers rewarding careers with growth and has an opportunity for anyone with integrity that wants to make a difference. Go to joinsdsheriff.net to learn more. That's joinsdsheriff.net. I'm Kelly Danik with Ben and Woods, San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan.
I am being persecuted on this dilapidated Twitter website. My wife has weighed in and said, thank you, Bobby. I'm tired of living with the lies. God, I did nothing wrong.
All right. If you want to join us for our Tier 1 topic wheel, 833-288-0973. Before we do that, we do have the lineup for today's Padres-Dodgers game down in Glendale, Arizona.
Oh, yeah. Let's
and,
go.
They're taking some of the big stars. Trent Grisham leading off in center field. Fernando Tatis Jr. batting second in right field. Matt Carpenter, abdominal issues subsided. He will play first base and bat third. Luis Campusano cleaning up, doing the catching. David Dahl out in left field, batting fifth. I feel like David Dahl is making a strong push to make this roster. Austin Nola, the DH, batting sixth. Rougned Odor at second base, batting seventh. Jackson Merrill playing shortstop and batting eighth. He had another RBI single yesterday and continues to impress. Just a teenager out there playing with the big leaguers. And then Jansen Whitty playing third base. not Manny Machado, but Jansen Whitty batting ninth, and Nick Martinez on the mound making what should be his final start before he joins Team USA for the World Baseball Classic.
I like it.
Up.
I like it.
All right, let's go out to the phones. Who do you want to go to here, Paulie?
We've got Dexter.
All right, let's go to Dexter. He is going to be on our Tier 1 topic wheel. Good morning, Dexter. How are you?
Good morning, gentlemen. It's an honor to be joining you today.
All right, we're going to spin the
Ready?
topic wheel, and we're all going to have our answers. So, Paulie, spin away. Such a happy sound.
It is.
If you could make it so that you won gold in any Olympic event, what would you choose?
A gold medalist in any Olympic event. Well, it would definitely be one of the really individual ones. Like, I don't want to be part of a big team of gold medal winners.
We know.
I want to be my own gold medal winner.
We're
So I'm not
very,
sharing
we're
it with
very
anyone.
aware.
I mean, this is totally hypothetical. I don't. Do
You
I have
wouldn't want to be on the
actually
dream
do it?
team? Like,
Yeah, you wouldn't want to be on the dream
I
team.
don't know. I mean, Christian Leitner was on the dream team.
Yeah, he's got a gold medal to
He
prove
does, but it wasn't like he was playing
So was
much
Michael
on
Jordan.
that team.
Yeah.
LeBron James.
it. Yes,
I don't want to be the Christian Leitner of the dream team.
you're already the Christian Leitner of the dream.
Thank
Just FYI, as far as you know.
Thanks a lot.
Mine's easy. Boxing, because then nobody would ever mess
Boxing,
with me
gold
for the
medal,
rest of
box,
my life.
100-meter
me?
dash.
100-yard dash is a great
100-yard
answer.
dash.
It is good.
Yeah.
I'm going to go with
Fastest man on the
Fastest
planet.
man on the planet.
I'm going to go with ski jumping.
Ski jumping.
Wouldn't it be
the
cool
hell?
to be able to fly through
It
the air
would.
further than anyone
It's-
off the slopes?
it's
and
pretty
just like
badass.
I mean, that would be kind of cool.
Dexter, what do you got for us?
Oh, I can just picture Ben the Eagle,
Well,
like
there's-
Eddie the Eagle.
There's two images.
Um,
I've got Paulie. I've got
If you've ever,
Paulie
hey,
running the 100-yard dash.
if you
and
guys,
Ben flying off.
if you haven't, see that movie and then picture Ben as Eddie the Eagle.
Eddie the
I mean,
Eagle.
if I'm giving
Yeah.
a real answer, obviously golf. I'd
Yeah.
like to be
Right.
the Olympic gold medalist in
yeah.
golf.
And Paul mentioned fastest man on earth. Actually, because I'm a huge NASCAR fan, I would pick one of the bobsled events because they
Dude,
have 1, 2,
Terrifying.
yes.
and 4, and you're going down there at like top speed, just like you're in NASCAR.
See, now,
It's the
And
most
NASCAR actually
terrifying.
developed the sleds.
unless you're the driver, though, you know what the job of the other the bobsledders is?
Don't die.
You run really fast for like 4 seconds, and then you hop in and you put your head down between your knees the entire way down. You don't even see a second of your race.
Good.
Only the one guy, the driver in the back, is the only guy who watches. Everybody else's job is to just be as aerodynamic and keep their helmet as low as possible to reduce wind shear. That would be the worst. That would be the worst Olympic job in my mind. You get to run for like 5 seconds and then hope you don't crash.
Hope we don't die.
On an
Are
absolute
you good? Are we good?
on a roller
How we
coaster.
doing? How we doing? I'm fine. Shut up.
What's our time? What's our time? Are we winning? Are we losing? Don't crash, please.
Shut up. Shut up. Thank you, Dexter. That's brilliant. Brilliant.
All right,
brilliant.
let's get to is this Chris on the line? Chris, you're on our
Yeah, that's
tier,
me.
All
tier,
right,
tier
spin it.
one
Spin it again.
topic wheel.
Wood, shut up. Shut up.
800ths of a second behind.
What age do you wish you could permanently be?
Oh, that's such a brilliant, brilliant
Oh, God.
question.
I'm going to go with 22.
Chris, okay, so
What a
old
year.
enough to drink.
What a year.
I think
Oh,
that's not a bad choice.
I was thinking
what a
like
year.
23, 22, 23.
I feel
Do you
like
really want to be that age?
I want a little more experience. I'm thinking 29, maybe late 20s, enough that you've seen a little bit, you've lived a little bit. I mean, I feel like I live better now than I ever did in my 20s. I just would also like to be a little healthier and younger and have more energy.
Work
and-
less.
Yeah. But in terms of like knowing what I enjoy and living my better life, the older I've gotten, the better I seem to do at it. So I wouldn't want to be too young and make all the same mistakes that 22-year-olds make all the time.
You made literally zero
I know.
mistakes. Zero
That's
mistakes. So any age you pick is going to be good for you.
I mean, you think
amazing.
I'm awkward now, though? I mean, I was really, really awkward in my 20s
Because we weren't friends.
That's part of it. Yeah, I
really
hadn't met
honestly.
you yet.
The wingman to help you out. You guys can be blown away by my answer, but I would honestly
82.
say no, probably 42.
Yeah.
Probably 42. My 20s were so up, like, just what's the word I'm looking for?
The year before you met me, 42, huh?
It's the year I had a child.
All right.
Now I love being a dad. It's my favorite thing in the world. I really do. So I think my 20s were so tumultuous, where I couldn't sleep at night because I had something legal pending over. You know what I mean? Seriously, like my whole 20s were like I was just a ball of trouble and anxiety. My 30s, not much better. And then, everything now is as good as it's ever been in my life. I would pick
is there an argument to be made for something like three, just to be well cared for, tended for, all your needs, or just
but you don't
just hand it to you all the time?
It'd be boring.
Yeah, but is it boring if
If I
you're
was gonna do
three?
anything like young, I would have said probably like 17.
17.
Not quite legal yet, but you feel like you're an adult.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
And dude, 17 years old. Like, what was your biggest care in the world?
You weren't going to
Girls,
acoustic
high
wave
school.
therapy. I'll tell you that at 17.
Still have,
that wasn't
still
an
have
issue.
some acne and some issues though at 17.
Still a little gawky.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh yeah, really. I have enjoyed, except for the rapid decline in health. I've enjoyed my 40s because I have a house, I've got a wife, I've got kids I love, and that makes me happy. But I don't know. Being young was it was so tumultuous for me, man, in my head. And I was thinking about it the other day, Ben, knock on wood. I don't have a speeding ticket to worry about. Nothing. Everything legal wise in my life is so good. And if you've never had those experiences of being on probation and having an interlock device in your car, and you have to go to a probation meeting and do community service, if you've never experienced it, it sucks. And I never want to do it again. So for me, I would say in my sometime in my 40s, I've really enjoyed my 40s.
All right, so I think did Adam do this or did you do it, Paul, from the 97.3 The Fan account?
I haven't done anything.
So it's what Ben Higgins would look like flying through the air as a ski jumper, but then it's just the blank picture because of Twitter.
because of
but
Twitter.
Twitter's working again now, so everything's back. Nothing. It's still the blank picture, but everything else is working. You can click on the links again, and all the pictures are back. So the joke, of course, falls flat because everyone's going, "Where's the picture?"
He should just stop.
Just the timing just didn't work out that well. All right, do we have time for one more?
Swing and a miss by Adam. Is that what I'm getting?
Unfortunately, the Twitter got him there, and now
It's
there's
I
no
cannot
picture.
win with these guys.
No.
I can't do it.
Let's see. Our friend Jordan is on the line from North Carolina. Good morning, Jordan.
Good morning. Good to be on with you guys again. I'm glad you guys are doing this because I've been suggesting it a couple of times.
well,
This is
you're in.
a fun idea.
You notice Benny didn't give you any credit, Jordan, when he took your idea.
Tier 1
today.
topic wheel. You're in, Jordan. Let's spin it, Paulie.
All right. It's a zombie apocalypse. Which fictional character would you want by your side?
Zombie apocalypse. So you could go with, the current zombie apocalypse show, The Last of Us, and have Joel, who would be pretty cool to have beside you, some experience in the zombie apocalypse. But I don't know. I mean, I'd probably want some sort of really gnarly superhero who can protect you.
I'll
right?
take Paige Spiranak with me.
Fictional character.
Oh, fictional.
Nice try, though.
Thank you.
You're thinking
I see
more
you
like
working.
how you can live best.
You see me working. Fictional character.
Yeah, so I'm going with like Captain America.
Yeah, I don't watch any of those,
I
so
know,
don't
but you could go
Hulk,
like Superman
I don't
or
know.
something like that. Fictional.
like this one.
Jordan, what would you say?
Well, of course, I get this question. I had great answers for the other one, but So, of course, your first instinct is to say a superhero or whatever. But you know what? I'm going to get super nerdy here. I would pick a Pokemon. Because think about it. Like, if you're with Charizard or whatever, he can just burn all the zombies with his, like, fire breath. Like,
All right,
I'm picking a Pokemon because...
Solly, hang on.
Am I wrong? Am I wrong, though? Like, come on.
We have no idea. You could be making up words for all we know. I know. My kids did Pokemon, so I do know that there such a thing as a Charizard exists, and that's all I know. Jordan. Paul, you didn't give an answer, did you?
Like, wouldn't like Harry Potter probably be some help?
Ooh, magic.
Obi-Wan Kenobi.
Lightsabers that can just slice through the zombies.
Or Will Smith from the movie I Am Legend. He took down plenty of zombies.
That's true.
I hate this stuff.
All right, let's do one more just so we can finish. We don't have any more
I gotta
calls, so let's
end
just
on a
finish
good
on
note.
a good note here.
Good work, Words.
Great. Worse than the last one.
It's a hot dog, a sandwich.
Scariest dream you've ever had.
Scary dream.
I have these. It's happened a couple times. Some of these after my kids. That's the one that just it legit freaks me out to no end. Like somebody's trying to get in my house. That one. I've had it like 3 or 4 times. It's not fun.
Yeah, I've had nightmares where like my wife died or like my dog dies, and it just feels so real. And you wake up in such a sweat and a panic.
Yeah, just like almost in tears. You ever have the one? I have the one. It's scary because it's scary, but it's not scary like, ooh, there's a boogeyman after me. I'm on a motorcycle and I'm on a roller coaster, riding on the roller coaster, but on a motorcycle, and I fly off and I'm suspended hundreds of feet in the air, and I'm like, I'm going to crash, and I'm going to crash hard. And I always wake up. It's so scary.
I don't know what it means psychologically, but I often have dreams where I'm being chased, like something is chasing me, and I'm just trying to get away.
Sleep.
And it's very scary.
Rest.
Do you like still have those?
Trying to guess. I still have them.
Yeah.
Quite
Did you
often.
have like nightmares as a kid, like a recurring nightmare?
I mean, they're always a little bit different. I mean, I could be in a different setting, but it oftentimes involves something pursuing me, and I'm trying to get away from it, hide from it, run from it, fly away from it.
Yeah.
I get that a lot.
I wonder what that means.
I don't know. I'm sure there's analysts who can probably
There's
tell me.
one I've had about losing my teeth, and that means something. But that one's a scary. When you wake up and you're like, no, I'm
If you have
still
gum
good.
disease.
I'm still good. Need to brush more. I like that one better.
Country music superstar Sam Hunt will take over the Resorts World Theater for a limited 2-night engagement, April 21st and 22nd. Tickets on sale now at axs.com. That's AXS.com. But you can win tickets in a 2-night stay just by listening to 97.3 The Fan. Every hour you listen, now through March 19th, equals 1 entry in the contest. That's it for the topic wheel, and that's it for the Monday edition of Ben and Woods. We'll be back tomorrow morning at 6 a.m. for Paul Rydell, for Stephen Woods. I'm Ben Higgins. Have a great rest of your day from all of us here at San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan.